On this episode of Kilts and Culture with USA Kilts, we try Bushmills Black Bush.
Black Bush.
Howdy, boys and girls. Welcome to Kilts and Culture. I am Rocky. This is Erik.
Yo.
Today, special treat. Friend and viewer Malcolm Brown gave us Bushmills Black Bush. Little minor interesting point about that. Somebody did a research and found out they just called it like the Black Bushmills. Like, hey, that's the one with the black label, Black Bush, and that's why it's called Black Bush.
So there was originally a regular Bushmills on the shelf, but if you wanted the black label one, you said
Black Bush.
Give me the black label one.
Exactly. So sure, that's
so you just rolled into it and confused everybody.
Yeah. So
okay.
I think it could be a much more interesting story. It's not, but we're gonna do it anyway.
You know what would be helpful for this? Would be a table.
Would be. Still can't do it real well.
You make me look bad. I try to do the force powers thing every time, and
your force powers suck.
They do.
All right.
Not enough time on Dagobah.
So, Bushmills Black Bush, Mr. Mac, if you would like to come over and collect yours, and I'm gonna pour it out here so I don't dump it all over myself.
Thereby enacting the ritual wherein we confirm that this is not a green screen, that this is actually a room that we spent a gob of money on.
Gob.
With real swords and a real targe and all that.
Gob is a...
oh, hey, Mac.
Well, howdy.
It's a monetary amount. Slightly less than a smattering.
Yep.
Mr. Erik, there you go.
Thank you.
And I will cap Bushmills Black Bush. I'll get that out of the way. So, Mac, while you're here...
Oh, while I'm here?
While you're there.
While I'm here.
What tartan are you wearing today, Mac?
I got the County Limerick on.
County Crest Limerick.
County Crest Limerick.
Sorry,
I forgot the Crest part.
How dare you, sir?
I know.
Yeah, don't forget that.
You misinformationing person, the guy.
Muy importante.
Mr. Erik.
Sterling.
Sterling.
One of the first kilts I ever got working here, actually. I love it.
Nice.
Love this tartan.
I am wearing, that you could see parts of, the Pennsylvania State Seal tartan, based on the state seal of the great state
Hang on. So
of Pennsylvania.
these are all three USA Kilts exclusive tartans then, aren't they?
Yes.
You designed Sterling.
I didn't design that one. We bought it from...
Oh, okay.
We balled it.
Yeah.
Okay. But what about that one?
We balled it.
But what about that one? The Pennsylvania steel, you designed that one.
Yep.
So, okay.
Yep.
So,
Indeed.
that's cool.
All right, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Hamina.
Right, down to business.
All right. Mr. Mac, you have the tasting notes over there. Black Bush. For Black Bush.
All right. So we start with the nose. I don't know why I had a random accent there, but...
Let's start with the nose.
I'm full of random accents all the time.
All right.
So it is overripe grape with light citrus on the nose and a touch of toffee and peanut.
I like, you're leading the witness, but the overripe grape thing...
Yes, the grape.
I immediately thought, like, it smells like almost like a wine. Like, I'm getting that, like, church communion wine... Like
yes,
vibe memory.
Okay, I'm gonna say that's the sherry cask. That's what you're going for every time you're doing a sherry cask finish. I think so. That's what.
Okay.
Yeah, because there is a fruity.
You've ruined my nose.
There's a kind of a dark fruity kind of a vibe to it for sure.
Color wise, not bad. Not too dark, not too light. Oh, you got a big one. I poured a lot in there.
Yeah, mine's whiskey colored.
Yeah, indeed. All right.
Slancha.
Slanjava. Reasonably smooth. No, not burning the nose hairs when I'm breathing back out. It's a little peppery top back of the mouth for me.
I agree.
See, I'm getting no more on the front.
You're in front, maybe where I just where I hit my tongue.
So the palate
a little burning.
Says vanilla and milk bottle.
Milk.
I can taste the milk bottle. It's delicious.
Collectible milk bottle.
Shards of glass.
Vanilla and milk
filled with
bottle
styrofoam.
sweeties. Dried peels, chamomile tea, and cinnamon sticks.
Dried. Who the hell writes this crap?
I don't know, man. They're like super tasters. You know what a super taster is? My daughter is a super taster. She has a
She could pick the ingredients.
Which drove us crazy raising her, because any kind of food, any new food, she's like, this tastes like blah, 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 blah. And we're like, But do you like it? No, it's too.
That's too much. Yeah, they could taste everything.
It's like super sensitive. So I don't know.
I can taste the purple.
I'll tell her to become a whiskey taster.
Yeah, a sommelier.
Didn't say what the dried peels were.
Yeah, I know. It's like potato peels. What are we going for? Well, that'd be vodka, I guess. I don't know. How am I feeling about it?
I don't know. How are you feeling about it?
Now we didn't let it open up. We just popped it and went.
As usual.
Yeah. I'm gonna add a touch of water.
Which
happens.
disperses the oils. Isn't that what somebody was telling us? That's actually why you put the water in.
Just as a note, the finish is a digestive biscuit, cooked plum, and orange oil.
Digestive
biscuit?
You know what they're talking about?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I love digestive biscuits.
Yeah, they're just like bland as all get out.
Yeah, they're delicious though.
Yeah.
They're
delicious.
They're good with tea.
Delicious.
And what's the other ones?
Orange oil and cooked plum.
Is the plum left over from the up front old grape or whatever you called it?
Old grape.
Overripe grape.
Overripe grapes, so like raisins? Like, what are you doing?
That's going to be my winery name now. I'm just going to like...
Old grapes.
Monerson's old grape.
The Old Grape Inn. It's a pub name. All right, with the water. Definitely cut the pepper down a bit.
Yeah, just cutting the burniness.
Yeah.
So are they referring to the cinnamon as the pepper? Like, is that what they're...
No.
Pepper is just a euphemism for it's burny.
Yeah, it's a little burning.
It's a bit burny.
I could taste the burning. The old Ralphie Wiggum. Still, best underappreciated character on Simpsons.
I don't think he's not that underappreciated.
All right. Favorite Ralphie Wiggum quote? What's yours? Mac will let Mac think of one. Do you have any?
I just the general formula is like,
Okay.
I'm grown-upping.
Yeah.
I mean the.
And he walks into the back of the gas station, the adult section. Everybody's hugging.
Right.
That one, or the wild wolf carries him away. You smell like dead bunnies.
Will you be my mommy? You smell like dead bunnies.
Is there one where he was like sleeping in a drawer too?
Yeah, I sleep in a drawer.
Yeah.
His dad pulls up. Yep. All right. Enough of my memories of The Simpsons.
Yeah, the water definitely
Yeah.
cut her out.
It took out too much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
It balanced it, but it's much more drinkable. But it took out a lot.
As usual, I will let this breathe and see what I think in 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, but I will say this. It's not bad.
It's okay.
It's got reasonable legs.
Yeah.
Color-wise, it's I had a little bit of water. It's not too crazy dark that it like absorbed all the sherry cask kind of thing, but it's not like super light. Yeah, it's not bad.
I get the sherry flavor, i.e. the grape flavor. I'm not getting a lot else of what they're talking about. Maybe I get a little bit of an apricot vibe to it, which I didn't really mention, but I don't think
Is that the orange oil?
That's probably the orange oil. That's what I'm thinking, but you say apricot, I say orange oil. Let's call the whole thing whiskey.
Exactly. Or scotch, but it's not. It is whiskey this time. It's Irish. Yes. We do want to say thank you to Malcolm Brown for getting this for us.
Thank you.
It is one that we've never had before,
Yeah.
so we appreciate that very much, sir. It only took us February is when we got this, so 8 months to get to it. It's fine.
Yeah.
6 months, something like that.
Right.
I don't know what time
Right.
it is. Mr. Mack, what are you going to score it? 1 to 10. What do you score it?
I'm gonna go like 5-1, kind of middle of the road
Okay.
for me.
Okay.
It's not knocking the socks off, but it's not like
Yeah. You seem to you pick up a little bit more. Your interests are a little bit more bourbon, correct?
yeah.
A little bit less Irish whiskey and Scotch. You can go across the scale on.
Mm.
Okay, 5-1. Your thoughts?
5.8.
Okay.
It's not bad. Kind of like it. I don't usually go for Irish stuff as much, but it's
Yeah.
it's pleasant.
I'm gonna go a firm 6.5. Like
Really?
it's I'm pleasantly surprised with it. I'm
Yeah.
I'm not a big Irish fan. I'm not a big Bushmills, like regular Bushmills fan. Jameson's okay, but
Yeah.
I like this. It's a bit smoother with a touch of.
I'm
you know,
not
just a
picking
drop.
up on a lot of those tasting notes, but generally I like it. I like sherry. So,
Yeah,
just like,
it's a balanced. It's not a heavy one directional, like it's got all the smoke or all the peat or all the sherry or whatever,
Right.
or all the oak. It's just a good, reasonable balance.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool.
That's it. What are you laughing at over there, Chief?
And
No,
you go.
I was looking at the other finish notes here. Well, the finish isn't much there. Also, no bitter.
Isn't
or-
much there.
Well, the finish isn't that much there. But also no bitter or musty old wood notes.
This is like notes from some taster person. That's not from the company. It can't be from a.
I don't know. Their website seem to follow that rule. So
Okay.
from looking around. So
So it's just some guy at the distillery who's like, yeah, he doesn't like anything we make, so let's get his opinion just so we're being balanced. Oh, this is swill. I hate it.
Like water droplets all over me. Ah.
Good thing you're wearing a wool kilt
Exactly.
and a real leather
Rough
sporran.
brown.
Yeah, exactly.
Indeed.
Yep.
Indeed. All right, boys and girls, please load in the questions. Any kind of questions, comments, thoughts you have. We are but your humble servants to answer all of your kilt and culture related questions. Now, Mr. Erik, what do we have for preloaded people who have asked but we hadn't gotten to yet?
So glad you asked. I'm going to start right off with the skivvies. Will O'Hare. Gotcha. Will O'Hare said, never mind the whole regimental thing, okay? Let's just cut to the chase. What is the best type of underwear to wear under the kilt? Boxers, briefs, boxer briefs? What about cotton versus blends versus woolies, silk? Color, pattern?
Okay.
Just what do we think?
Sure.
What would you wear? Down there.
Little banana hammocks. I got Mac on that one. I would say this. It wouldn't. I have a few thoughts. One, I would just wear what I normally wear. I wouldn't change it up. I would just wear what I normally wear. So I'm typically not to get too personal, a boxer brief guy. Cotton, because wool kilts are going to make you sweat. If you run warm-blooded kind of thing, wool kilts are generally going to make you retain more body heat, i.e. sweat more. So cotton is going to kind of pull some of that out. My only thought that I have as far as what I wouldn't possibly wear would be silk. In my mid-20s, early 20s, I used to wear boxers more, and I didn't dig on the silk boxers because if I would get warm or hot, it would feel like it was sticking to me or restrictive. So I probably wouldn't do that. But outside of that,
Okay.
I don't have any crazy insight as far as what you should or shouldn't wear for your underwear.
Gotcha.
Your thoughts?
I don't have any opinion. Next question.
Sweet. That
No,
was quick.
I actually do boxer briefs also. I have had a couple of pairs of merino that we picked up from, oddly enough, a British-based company called Mountain Warehouse. Not Mountain Hardware, Mountain Warehouse. It's a British hiking and outdoors kind of supplier, and those are really cool. Don't own too many of those, but merino wool is very cool. Other than that, just basic black boxer briefs and cotton. I like the boxer briefs because it covers a little bit of the leg. I like black because it disappears in shadow. And you never have to worry about, I wouldn't wear anything with a pattern. I mean, maybe there's some guys out there who'd be like, yeah, just lean in and wear boxers with banana print on them or
the big lipstick
or,
marks or whatever.
whatever.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no thanks.
Yeah.
I'd rather you just see
Nothingness.
as
The
close to nothingness. Yeah,
the
black.
abyss.
Yeah, darkness.
I have stared into Eric's crotch abyss, and the abyss stared back into me.
there's an image for the cut ups.
No, thank you.
Someone
Oh
call
my
HR.
God.
We need an adult.
Right?
Um,
So, no, but seriously, I mean, I guess the you do you answer would be whatever is comfortable for you. But I would say that a boxer brief is a nice balance in terms of it doesn't get in your way. It's not visibly recognizable. If you do happen to accidentally flash somebody, it's the least likely to show up.
exactly.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Mr. Mac, do you have
Mac.
anyone
Mac.
else? He's thinking
Mac.
and waiting because
Hold on.
So-
Hold on. We're getting news in.
breaking
Oh.
news.
Have we? Well, how was the question day last time?
I am so glad I remembered that.
As am I.
Where the hell is it? It's under here somewhere. I have it. All right. So as we've
Excuse me while
done
I
the
whip
last
this
few,
out.
yes, as we've done the last few times, at the end of the show we ask a question in a day, and then we collect the answers and tell you what last month's question of the day month. We got to standardize on something. Anyway, our question last month was, what is your favorite Scottish food? So top 3 answers in no particular order. Carl R. When I was in Scotland, the soups were consistently amazing. He didn't say where he went in Scotland, but he said, my wife and I, between the two of us, had at least 8 different types of soups, and all but one were amazing.
That's a lot of soup.
It is a lot of soup. It is a cooler climate, so I could see that.
Yeah.
Malcolm Brown. Isn't that who gave us our scotch?
I think it is.
Woohoo! Hey, Malcolm. There you go. Mutton pie with baked beans. Happy memories of my grandfather bringing them home.
Yep.
Also, getting to a reenactment in the pouring rain, having traveled all night, being welcomed at the guard tent with a glass of scotch, shortbread, and the news that a member of the regiment had just gone to the local baker's, returned with a box of mutton pies fresh from the oven and still warm. I remember the juices running down my beard. My man needs a napkin. Totally awesome.
Period.
Many thanks for great entertainment, great service when I visited your store.
Oh, well, thank
Thank you, and thank you for the scotch.
No, thank you. I wasn't expecting that, but
No.
okay.
Marcel Gomez, whatever. I might be boring, but my favorite Scottish food is probably haggis with neeps and tatties.
Okay.
An Isla and a stout with that, and the end of a meal with a black coffee. That's good as well.
Yeah.
The one thing I'm noticing, a lot of the people are thinking like comfort
Foods.
and
Exactly
it's-
what I was thinking.
And it's
Yep.
what they're
Yep.
the other trend that I saw across them was it's comfort foods, warm, and it's hitting a memory. They're remembering
Sure.
a moment in time or a place that they were,
Yep.
and the smells kind of trigger that
Yep.
for some people.
Hot, maybe a little on the salty side, a little on the heavy side. You know, I mean,
A little on the drunk side. A little
Well,
Irish
yeah,
Scotch.
yeah. But I mean, but the other thing that comment made me think of is it's kind of like every nation has a cuisine, and every cuisine involves things that just people have discovered over the centuries just blend well together and
Yep.
work well together. So it's not just one food you want; it's like the whole experience.
Yeah.
So the accessories, if you will.
The accessories.
You know, like I've had a lot of people say, like, you know, it's not. There's no point in eating haggis unless you're going to have neeps and tatties with it. It's like,
Yeah.
I don't completely agree, but I get it.
Yeah,
You know.
agreed.
So yeah, but now I want soup.
Or a haggis breakfast sandwich.
Haggis is
It's like the weird, it's the universal. It can go with all kinds of different
Yeah.
things, depending on how you make it. Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely.
peasant food,
Indeed. Peasants. And we are what peasants?
basically peasants.
All right, Mac. Since
Now we'll do a
I
question.
remembered to do that, what's your first question,
Good on
everybody? Thank you.
All right. So, first question comes from YouTube, from our longtime viewer Cameron White. How are staghorns made? Staghorn buttons made?
You take a horn and you cut it up and put holes in it.
Pretty much.
No, there's more nuance
Most
to it,
of
but-
the staghorn buttons on tweed jackets and vests is essentially what he's talking about. So most of the buttons that you're going to see are actually imitation staghorn. Where they're just plastic, and then they have little like globs of darker stuff on the top and globs of things that make it look like actual natural staghorn.
actual antler. Yeah.
Staghorn, for those who don't know, are the antlers of stags that are naturally shed in the forest. You don't have to kill the animal to get staghorn. There are people who go out and just collect them. One of the issues that has kind of cropped up in harvesting staghorn is that they're used for dog chew toys, and they're used a lot in Japan. I forget why, but there's been a run on it, so to speak. So it's been more difficult to get staghorn, like for our kilt pins and for our skin dews and stuff like that. It's been more difficult to get. But that being said, the vast majority for jackets are imitation. You can get real ones on occasion. They're cut basically out of the surface of it. You don't just cut across and then carve it down to be a circle, because then you're missing the beauty of the surface of the horn. So a lot of them are actually circular cut down the shaft of the
Really?
of the stag. Yeah,
Because I would have assumed it's just like you take a horn and you just like chop like you're chopping up a pickle or something.
correct. But it's not going to be perfectly cylindrical and consistent all the way down.
Or it's going to get bigger also because it's a cone.
Correct.
Like this tiny
So-
button and then a big button. But
Yeah, so you don't want to
have.
have inconsistent sized buttons. So
Okay.
they're just taking like, imagine like one of the saws, the circular saw things that you like to cut a hole in your door
For a doorknob, yeah.
for a doorknob or something
Right,
like
okay.
that. Correct. You use that, you cut it in, and it's only going to be, I think it's like Mac. What are staghorn buttons? 3/4 inch wide or so.
Yeah.
3/4 inch to an inch, and then there's generally two sizes. And there's a couple different companies that make them. Some of them make them that they're a little bit wider, and then they like cut a weird hole in the center. I don't like that much. But yeah,
Interesting. I would hazard a guess that traditionally they were probably cutting them more like slicing up a pickle or a carrot or something, but then they'd file them down to get to the size they want. Like they'd round it off, with a file or another knife blade of some kind. I mean,
Agreed, but-
because of the thing we're talking about, the circular saw you're talking about, that's a modern industrial piece of machine.
yeah, but then you're missing. Well, I don't know.
But they
because-
didn't care. I mean, I'm saying that now we're looking for a beauty in the button, whereas back in the day they were probably just looking for a button.
We'll have to look for old jackets with staghorn buttons because
Yeah, I'm curious.
now I'm actually curious about this. We don't
Yeah.
know the answer. Now we're speculating, and I want to see if you have the pattern, the grain that
Mm-hmm.
develop the patina that develops on the surface of the staghorn versus a clean cut where it just looks essentially like bone. Because a lot of people call staghorn buttons, oh, I want the bone buttons. Well, they're not bone; they're actually staghorn, that kind of thing. But if it's a flat white, then yes, it's probably cut across. If it's
Yeah.
surface, then
Or if you have the crinkles,
No.
then that's the outer edge of the horn, so that would be cut across.
or if it's if you just
But the ones
cutting
you're
it-
talking about, like it looks like bark, then that's cut out of the
that's
side.
the
so-
outside, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
So good question.
There's probably more than one way to cut a button.
Exactly.
More than one way to skin an antler.
Fair. Without killing it. This
Now I
time.
want.
Yes.
Yeah. No, they just collect them in the fall after the rut.
Yep.
Because they drop the antlers anyway.
Yep.
So yeah.
Absolutely. You just run around the woods and there's some.
Right.
I don't know how many you find, but it sounds like a great and boring as heck job.
That's what you make the kids do.
Fair. Yeah.
You know.
Go get lost. Hansel
Yeah.
and Gretel. Get out in the woods. It's fine. There's no witches. Okay. Hope that helps. Mr. Eric,
What?
what do we got for the next
Oh, you want a question?
read? Yeah, might as well. We're here.
If you insist.
Yeah.
Okay, Ian Cardno from Scotland, by the way, this question is from Scotland, via the YouTubes, if I'm not mistaken, asked, do you guys ever work with or consult with any kilt makers in Scotland? Like, to exchange ideas on what's going on in fashion-wise, or, what's different between each side of the pond. For instance, I've noticed that gray kilts seem to have become very popular at weddings over here. Are they popular in the United States also?
Sure.
So do we ever consult with our peers across the pond?
Yes. The one of the things for the most part we get on with most companies unless you're a jerk or a shyster kind of thing. There's plenty to go around, and we're friends with a lot of different kilt makers both in the U.S. and over in Scotland. And the mills are another great source of information for us for current trends and things like that. And other companies in like accessory companies because they'll see trends based on specific tartans or things like that. We know more about the hire trade, the rental trade over in Scotland. So yes, we absolutely consult with them. Yes, we see what trends are existing, which ones are coming, which where kind of things flow. There is an ebb and flow to it, even though it's traditional stuff, even though it's been around for hundreds of years. It still evolves much more slowly than regular fashion does, but it still evolves over time. So in the mid to late 2000s, there was the solid black kilt thing, or the shadow tartan thing, and then that kind of made way for more tweed stuff and more weathered things, and now we're going into marled kind of yarns and things like that.
Yep.
So there is an ebb and flow within it. It's not just a straight line through history straight across to the current day. There are definitely trends. One of the funnier things that I've noticed or that have been relayed to me from both mills and from companies that do hire in Scotland is it's not there's less people in Scotland, younger people who are getting married, getting their first kilt, early 20s, late teens. A lot of them get their first kilt for a graduation gift or something like that, either high school or college. A lot of those people are not necessarily getting their family tartan. They're getting a universal tartan or something that they like the look of if they don't dig on their family tartan. So one of the most striking differences between Scottish people wearing kilts, and this is, again, broad brushstroke, versus Americans wearing kilts, is we're doing it for family heritage reasons. So we're more closely looking at it, generally speaking, from a clan tartan angle, versus younger people in Scotland right now, current day, are tending to kind of like more the universal stuff, and it's more the national, I'm Scottish because I'm wearing tartan, I'm wearing a kilt identity, not this is my great granddad's kilt, so therefore I'm going to wear the same thing that he wore 150 years ago. It's they're putting a personal, fun spin on it, not a family spin on it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it sounds, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds to me like what you're saying is that they're basically taking it as this is what you're supposed to do for a kilt outfit. I want to make it interesting to me.
Yes.
Like, you're supposed to wear a kilt for your wedding, for graduation, whatever. But they want to make it snazzy by today's standards. And I think I think digital evidence bears this out, because I saw came across a feed on the Kilts and Culture group just a few days ago. Some Scottish company put out another of these videos where they talk about what is the national dress of Scotland, and the guy who's showing it off and modeling it is wearing a marled thread, very contemporary looking tartan. It's not a clan tartan at all. I mean, it's a very large set. It's like, I think it's like a maroon kind of a base color and stuff like that. And he's got like a colored tie, and it's like very contemporary looking outfit. And it's just like obviously showing like the national dress is made out of these elements, but color and tartan are not the big priority for them. It's the it's the pieces parts of the outfit that they care about, and then they're filling those pieces with fashion. If that makes any sense.
Yes, the overall look. Yeah. Now, and I will say this: there are still people in Scotland who will say, "Nope, I want my family tartan."
Of course.
Period. Of course, there's going to be that, but it's not 100%. That's how it's done all the time. Period. Yeah. And it's we know enough people in Scotland who have told us this is how it is from an industry standpoint. This is what we are selling. This is what we are renting. This is what we are selling to people who are also renting at a party, whatever. Right. So it's the myth of it must be a clan tartan and that's how the Scots do it. It's just not true, whether they think it is or not. So it's but it's not true, because some people do. It's
there's a baseline, but it's not the be all end all.
Yeah, we are all humans. We are all going to have our own decisions, our own desires, our own opinion on what I think looks good or doesn't look good. If I'm a Buchanan and I go, you know what? I really, really hate that it's asymmetrical. I hate all the Buchanan tartans. I don't want that. I really love the gray because I can wear it with anything. Great, you're going to get that. And it's not, you don't have to be Scottish to feel that way. You don't have to be Canadian, American, whatever. It's just, you're just wearing what you like.
I will say this. You've commented before, and I think it's true, that what we do tend to hear from the guys over in Scotland is if there's a trend that's happening there now, we can expect to see it here in like
a couple years.
A couple of years. Yeah. So it's kind of like we get a sneak preview into the future sometimes. It's just like, oh, this is the trend, and this is what's going to percolate through.
Yep.
So we definitely do see that, which is kind of cool, because then we get to pick and choose what we think is a long-lasting idea as opposed to a flash in the pan. I mean, there have been a couple of trendy kilt outfits over the years, which was like, why did you do that? But sometimes you can just like, oh, okay, hey, that could be cool.
And the weird thing is that is kind of led in two forks. It's led by the bagpipe bands, like the whole tweed jacket thing, because they were tired of wearing black Argyle jackets. That was kind of led by bagpipe bands, and then it's also led by the hire industry, because it's kind of a yin yang thing, or a dog chasing his tail. It's what are people asking for, and how do you get ahead of the curve? If it's time to replace my jackets for my entire inventory, how do I get ahead of the curve? What's the next trend going to be? Then they start carrying that thing. Then more people come in and say like, oh, hey, that's neat. Or this is my option, is this gray color tweed or this brown color tweed with their rental kilts. And then it sort of starts that way. So then what ends up happening over there kind of gets exported to the U.S. for this is kind of what the current trends are, and 3-4 years later, especially in the bagpipe community, it's a few years later that kind of becomes a thing over here in the U.S.
Yeah, and again with the wedding thing, you're talking about generally younger people, so I wouldn't be surprised if somebody decides they're into Highland dress over there. They'd start off with a trendier outfit for their wedding, and then when they get into middle age or something, then they're more interested in having a clan tartan.
Yeah, but
That kind of thing, you know what I mean?
But back to the original point, they're doing it for a different reason. They're doing it for tartan is the national identity of Scotland. The kilt is the national identity. It really doesn't matter what the tartan is to some degree.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it is tartan, that it is a kilt. For Americans, Canadians, Australians, we are doing it for a personal heritage connection. So we are, generally speaking, much more interested in the clan angle of it than just the generic tartan angle of it. Some of us do still say, like, well, but I like this universal tartan or that one, or I want to wear it for a fashion fun thing. That's an angle too, but the broader spectrum of people are in the U.S. or the diaspora, so to speak, are more going at it from an aspect of family heritage, connection to their particular lineage.
Yep.
Yes, indeed. I hope that helps.
And then there's all the gossip. Oh, did you hear what Angus did last weekend? Oh,
Freaking candles.
wouldn't believe it. Yeah.
I know.
Tell you what, don't go to Glasgow on a Saturday night with that guy. Yeah. But you do get into that. I mean, it is a close community, so you do wind up having those kind of conversations too.
Absolutely. Mr. Mack.
All right, so we have Steve on Facebook saying
Hi,
he's
Steve.
an American Celtic mutt. Is it okay to mix the Scotch, Irish, and Welsh into one kilt?
Oh, I thought you were going to say into one drink.
Sure, why not? Let's go for it.
Mix them all. Just drink them one after another. It's fine. And then go for a second round. Just
What
to
would be the
compare
Welsh?
which
What
ones
would
you
the
like.
Welsh?
There's Welsh scotches.
Okay, no.
I don't know how, or Welsh whiskeys, I should say. Sorry. The don't want to
They
get in
just have
trouble
no
for saying
vowels.
scotch. The
Yeah.
no.
I'm imagining like Irish coffee using Glenfiddich in it, and then with a leek as a swizzle. But I'm kind of broken that way, so
I don't know how that
don't
would
pay
taste
attention
for
to
the
me.
leak. Now you're
And
stop.
then just
Tastes
take
better
a
than
bite
breath
out-
mints.
We're back to the breath mint challenge.
And
yeah.
then just take a bite out of it and
Yeah, exactly. Just chew on the leek
It's
like
a palate
thing of
cleanser.
straw.
It's a palate
Yeah.
cleanser.
Indeed.
All right, seriously.
All the tartans
Seriously, though.
into one kilt. Personally, nope, don't do it. The we were talking about this, kind of recently. My personal thing goes more towards do one thing and do it well. Don't try to do all of the things all of the time. We had one video a while ago where a gent was trying to say, can I mix my tartan and my my godson's tartan into the same kilt to show him that he means something to me? And generally, no, don't. I would say this: if you want to do something to represent all of them, if money's no object, because it ain't cheap, then I would say design a tartan for your Welsh, Irish, Scottish heritage and include, colors,
that could be
maybe
neat.
blue for the saltire, green and gold for the, the flag of Ireland, and then like green and
some
red.
red and white in there
Yeah,
for
red and white for
Wales.
the, for the Welsh, exactly.
Interesting
So
thought.
maybe do something like that, but personally, I wouldn't mix 3 tartans into a kilt.
Yeah, no. I mean, speaking more broadly, just in case that's what you meant with the question, you could, and we've said we don't have an issue with people. Like it matters what we think, but the that sounded very judgmental. I didn't mean it that way.
Oh, but it is. And we have.
We are judging you daily. Remember that. We need a
It's all we
freeze
ever
frame.
do.
Put this picture in your closet.
Okay, seriously, no. If you're talking about an outfit, we do have cases of people like using like a universal tartan and then a clan badge or a clan kilt pin or something like that to try and show different aspects of their heritage. Okay, so like if you wanted to have your Scottish ancestor clan connection tartan kilt and then have a Welsh dragon kilt pin, sure, why not? And then an Irish element in some other part
Irish
of your
born, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could do that. I mean, you gotta be careful that the colors and everything, and it's not just too much. Like if the more bold those elements get, the more distracting it could be. But if you're talking about a whole complete outfit, there's ways to play with it. But with any outfit, you have to decide what the point of attention is going to be. What is the signature element of the outfit? Once you do that, you can play around with other stuff.
Yeah, in Highland wear, generally speaking, simpler is better. So you don't go, if you try to incorporate all of the elements and all of the things, it's you're watering down everything by not giving anything the signature piece, the one thing that is the standout element of the outfit. For me, generally speaking, that's going to be the tartan. I'm wearing a reasonably plain sporran. Well, the buckle's kind of fancy, but a black shirt, black socks, but the tartan itself stands out. If I was wearing a big Welsh dragon shirt and a bright, a St. Andrew's kilt and a big honking green Irish sporran, it would be too much.
That'd be a bit weird.
Yeah, you're becoming a caricature of yourself. So simpler is better, in my estimation, in that way.
Yeah. So it's be willing to be subtle with it. Give a nod. Or, like we said, if you decide you're into this stuff, getting into kilts and all this, it's like eating peanuts. You're going to start collecting. So you could have an outfit which is basically your Scottish side, and then a different day, a different weekend, you wear a more Welsh outfit, and then a different day, a different weekend, you wear a more Irish theme outfit. Yeah. But we all wind up collecting stuff over time. So that's where I would think about it.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Erik.
What?
That's actually improved. This is like...
That's gone.
This may be dangerous, and I poured a bit more.
That's not improved. That's gone.
That may be dangerous. I'm going to pour a little bit more so that I can breathe until I get to it.
Tell me when you're ready.
Oh, I'm not ready yet. Not ready yet. Hold on.
I'm sorry.
A little bit more. A little bit more? No?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Go ahead.
Are you quite sure? Okay.
All right.
Robert Bernowski just...
It looks like you just poured that into your coffee cup.
Is this coffee?
Is it? Yeah, it's coffee. Robert J. Barnowski.
There's going to be so many screenshots.
I'm talking. Excuse me.
No, I don't care.
Asked us, do you ever have a live studio audience, as in there in person? So that's an easy one.
Just Jaime.
No. Hi, Jaime. We have our new videographer, Jaime, here with us today. She's back there.
Jump in there, Jaime. Mac, turn on your camera. So, we have a new member. You got to be not behind Mac's head.
Look at the camera.
So, we have a new member of our team,
Don't look at the monitor.
Exactly.
There we go. But
so,
other than that, we don't typically. The great exception to the rule would be if Muhammad will not go to the mountain will come to Muhammad, right? So we are going to be doing a live and in-person show at the Celtic Classic Festival in beautiful downtown Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
When is that, Erik?
That is September 24th, 2022.
What time is it, Erik?
Right now. The showtime will be 2 o'clock in the afternoon in the Heritage Hollow. Yes, I will be putting out more blasts about this. Rocky will also. We're going to be reminding people, come and join us. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a blast. We've never done this on location before. We've never had a live audience like this before. The closest we came was doing some content for like the grand reopening. Yeah. Or when we had people come in the studio and just to do a tour, and we did some, little video stuff. But an actual show where we actually have microphones like, so, hey, tell us what you think. Or that kind of thing we've never done. So it's going to be interesting.
Is it September 24th? It's
Correct.
A Saturday.
2
o'clock. Last Saturday in September. Yes, I am excited, nervous, weirded out. When we're doing this, we're just talking to a black thing in the middle of the room.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun and weird to have actual people like laughing at us. Well, you guys laugh at me all the time.
I laugh at you all the time, but
at me more. Well, not with me, at me. But
that's random people on the street.
Yes,
exactly.
exactly.
People we invited to come and laugh at us.
Little kids. Ha ha. A lot of Simpsons references today.
Yeah.
Matt is.
Now, will there be a live tasting for the audience? They are asking.
We weren't gonna do.
See, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
We weren't gonna do that part of the.
Yes and no. Yes and no. Here's the whole thing that's happening. Right before we're going on at 2, we are going to have a meetup around 1:30-ish, somewhere in there.
Right.
Near the area where we're going, because we have the stage for an hour, so it's like they walk off, we walk on, go. So we're going to meet up a little bit beforehand. We're going to have a couple bevies. and we do want to hang out. We do want to party. We
Yeah.
do want to drink before and after, and all day. But the at the same time, I'm trying to be respectful of the festival because they sell beer, they sell alcohol, so I want to be purchasing things from them. So bring beer that you've purchased from the festival
Yeah.
to the little meetup thing, and then we'll all just kind of hang out, chat for a little bit. I'm going to make sure people have questions, so we're not just me and Erik twiddling our thumbs with crickets. Exactly.
How is everybody?
Indeed.
All 5 of you.
And then after the thing, we're going to just kind of like remove ourselves from the stage, go somewhere else, and just kind of hang out and chat for a
Yeah, we
little
want to
while.
try and maximize our time, but not at the expense of the venue. We don't want to be jerks or anything like that. The Heritage Hollow, for anybody who hasn't been there, is like where all the clan tents are. There's this one building down towards the end where there's a stage, so we're going to be using that. But there's a nice grassy area there too, so we can basically figure we can just hang out there before and after the show.
Yep.
And it should be nice. So
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I'm like weirdly excited about it. I want to do it.
Oh, it's gonna be awesome.
It's
gonna be fun.
It's this is weird. This is unnatural. Speaking to weird 1, 2, 3 cameras in the middle of the room. But having audience interaction, which is why we're at least thankful that we can have you guys commenting and giving us stuff to talk about. It's going to be a good time.
It's funny because it was now that it feels normal now because we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was very, very odd at first.
Yeah.
And yet I had done public speaking before, so it was kind of like coming from that. It was just especially odd. And you've done some public speaking. I mean, we've done
I am
we've done
horrible
speeches.
at public speaking.
Oh, bull! You've
Dude,
done the speeches for the St. Andrews
I
Society.
know, and I've watched the videos and I cringe. I'm like, and I go like super
fine.
fast because I want to get the hell out of the
Fine.
situation.
And this is not a prepared speech. This is conversation. It'll be fine.
Yep. Oh, I know that.
Tell him it will be fine.
Oh, I know it's going to be fine. It's going to be more just this kind of BS banter and us being natural versus trying to I am not good at memorization at freaking all. Not at all. So
Yeah.
if we're going to do something in front of a crowd, this is it.
Probably should be prepared for some of the questions being pretty basic because we'll probably have a few people who are completely new to this stuff, unlike some of you folks out there.
Nope. I want all of these people coming with all of the really, really intense questions. We'll kick everyone else out. We're going to bring in a steamroller and just go to town on all the grannies sitting there. You guys are going to take the seats, and we're going to take over the entire festival.
I'm gonna imagine it's gonna be like a press conference, like, Mr. Rager, when Murray of Athol first entered into Glenfiddich, was he in fact wearing a weathered tartan, or was it actually a? Yeah, I mean,
Fine, do it.
no further questions.
Yeah, no. And it was storm off the stage. No, we want you guys out there. It's going to be fun. We want to make it more of an event than just a Q&A live.
That turned into a plug, which I didn't really mean it to be. But the short answer is we have not had a in-studio audience here. That'll be the first time we do something like that. In the future, I would like to host people here in the building for special occasions. So
Yep.
hopefully it'll happen.
Agreed.
Okay. Next.
Mr. Mac,
Gonna have our in-studio 6-pack.
Our
6-pack or 12-pack?
Well, it depends on how much we want to have. And
Oh, okay. Okay.
no, there was a radio station out at Harrisburg. They used to call it. They would bring 6 people in. They
That's what I
called
was
it
saying. Is
their
that like an
6-pack.
audience nickname? Got
So
it,
they
got
would
it,
when
got
they
it.
would do it.
There's no room in this room. I mean, Jamie's like shoved behind a curtain.
You might be able.
There's
you might be able-
scaffolding over there. We'll stack them up.
Right. We'll make it like
Hanging from the
bleachers.
rafters. Exactly.
Yeah, we
Just
get it.
hold on for 2 hours.
Take,
You're good.
the construction scaffold we have there and just turn it into bleachers.
Exactly. Yeah. Very, very high tech.
A double-decker couch, if you will.
Yes.
Okay.
I prefer to think of them as wooden bunk beds.
All right.
All right. So we have Matt asking from YouTube. He says, "Hello, guys. I have a question
Hello.
for you.
Howdy.
His wife and him are going to the Highland Games in Michigan. I don't even know how to say the town. I'm not even going to bother trying to say the name. of the
Waukesha?
town. No, it
No,
starts
it's
with
Wisconsin.
Livonia.
Livonia?
Sure, that sounds better than what I came up
Livonia.
with.
Livonia! Been there a dozen times.
Anyway.
Great. Yes.
Anyway.
He has a kilt he'd like to wear, but it's not his family tartan, and it's not of the greatest quality. So, yes to the kilt or no to the kilt?
You should buy a new one. I know a place. Little hole in the wall. USA Kilts.
Just around the corner.
.com.
Come on down to Rocky's Kilt
no, it's-
Emporium. We got kilts like you wouldn't believe.
Oh, it's crazy.
It's great. Act
Our
now
prices
and get a,
are insane.
Order now and get a special sporran keychain with your kilt.
The Why do we sound like 90-year-old smoker women?
I don't know.
Listen,
I grew up in New
honey,
York.
I'm going to tell you all about your kilts.
I think I know what I'm going to say to him, but why don't you go first?
I would say it depends on the event, depends on who else is wearing kilts.
Sure.
If it is a hoity-toity, fancy, highfalutin kind of event where everyone else is going to have really, really nice quality kilts, maybe not. Maybe just go with like a tartan tie or something simpler. If it's kind of a fun outdoors kind of thing, I would dress it up as best you can. I would kind of get on for the day, but start doing research on where you want to buy a kilt from, whether it's from us or somebody else. Frankly, I don't care. Just get a good kilt that you're proud of and you want to wear and you want to get out there and express your heritage.
Yeah, I'd say it's a festival from when, and if the weather out there is at all like the weather has been here, odds are you're not going to be caring about how your outfit looks by the end of the day.
Yeah.
You're just
It's-
going to
you're all
want to know
gonna
where
look
the
hot
ice
and
cubes
sweaty.
are.
Yep.
Right. So I would say go and have fun. Consider this your maiden voyage, a beta test, if you will, and don't worry about it too much. I would say make sure that you feel like you have a good-looking shirt. I always recommend against a printed shirt. Like, don't have like Sam's Bar, like, or genuine Irish or anything like that on
if
your
you
shirt.
own Sam's Bar?
Make it a solid color shirt. Maybe not a t-shirt. Go with a polo shirt or a pilot shirt, something that looks a little sharper. Make sure the kilt itself is clean. Make sure it's pressed. Make sure that it's fitting well on you before you go out the door. Make sure that your sporran is hanging at the good proper height below your belt buckle. Pay attention to those little details. And then the overall impression you give, as we sometimes call the 10-foot rule, is going to be okay. And then enjoy the day and just live in it. Enjoy being in the outfit and getting used to being in the outfit. And the next time, treat yourself to a new kilt. But in the meantime, you can present yourself with dignity, but also a fun attitude, and that's going to take care of the fact that it's not the best kilt in the world.
Here's my exceptions.
Except for what he's about to say.
Exactly. If it's an acrylic kilt that's like a real kilt, but it's just a really, really cheap one, then yes, all of that. If it is like Walmart fabric, machine sewn at home, your wife made it or your kid made it as a school project, and you're really like, this doesn't really look like a kilt, but it has some pleats, and it's, the set size is 2 inches or 1.5 inches, whatever. Then I'd be like, okay, fine. That's where I'm taking a little bit of a exception.
Yeah, okay, and I would agree.
Now, here's what I would also say as a bit of advice. Don't feel the need to buy the kilt there at the festival if you don't see something of the quality you want. Don't get caught up in the moment. Don't get overexcited and be like, I'm wearing, Walmart tablecloth fabric. This is horrible. I want to buy a kilt. Hey, look, this one's $29.99. It's great. Or it's close enough. Don't do that. Wait and invest in the correct thing, in the proper thing. Make sure you're getting something that you're going to, again, it doesn't have to be from us, but make sure you're getting something that long term you're going to like and be proud of. Don't just put a Band-Aid on top of a Band-Aid. Fix it. Get the right thing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, think long term.
Yes.
Something that'll last.
Yeah.
Something that is good enough quality that you'll be happy to wear it and it will look good on you for years to come.
Yes.
But I am betting it's more the case of like he found an acrylic one someplace or something like that.
I've seen some pretty bad ones.
I know, but I think it's more a question of sometimes of kind of like what you were saying, that trying to make the outfit out of something that was not meant to be the outfit. The classic example is we've seen guys at festivals who try to make a sporran out of a woman's purse. You can tell it's a woman's purse.
I need to burn that out of my memory.
It looks bad. It just doesn't work.
The sequins didn't help.
Yeah. Well, there actually was one with sequins. You're not even joking, are you? There was one where the guy, it was a sequin. Yeah, Max. Yeah, okay. So it's like, yeah, don't go to that level of just going to the closet and seeing what you can make into a costume. Okay, this is Highland dress. It's not a costume.
It's not a caricature.
So if the elements of your Highland dress are lesser quality and cheap right now, it is what it is. But you wear it with pride as best you can and make sure it's clean, and then you upgrade. If you're making a costume out of stuff you found in a closet or stuff you found at a thrift store, maybe don't do that.
Yeah, it means different thing to different people. So upgrade where you are able. You don't have to drop $1,000 to have an outfit right out of the gates.
No.
You piece it together over time, but buy the best thing you can afford when you can afford it, and then just don't try to
Yeah.
Like with the purse wrapped around the waist thing. Don't just, or a kilted skirt down like mid calf and like.
Or finding like a billy skirt and trying to wear it as a man's kilt. We've seen people do that. Like it's obvious they went to a thrift store. They wanted to have an outfit for the festival. They wanted to have a costume.
Or wrapping a tablecloth.
Or wrapping a tablecloth around because they think it'll look like a great kilt. It's just check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Yeah.
You know.
The other quote is,
I've seen some things, man, and some stuff.
"We've seen some scary stuff."
Yeah.
So yeah, it's you're trying to honor your heritage. Don't honor your heritage cheaply or in a made up, a caricature, cartoonish way.
Right.
Honor it properly. That's the reason that you're trying to express it in the first place. Do yourself proud, do your ancestors proud. You don't have to spend $1 billion to do it. Just don't hack it so far that it's just meh.
Yeah.
A caricature.
But if it's a economy kilt, just keep the rest of the outfit simple and tidy, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. Agreed.
The point is be in the moment, enjoy the day.
Yep. And have fun, and then circle back and step up.
I think that's a good thing to do too. Is like when you go to a festival for the first time, get pictures with people. If you like how somebody is dressed, or even if you don't like how they're dressed, ask if you can take a picture. Or take a picture with them, get a selfie.
Would you mind if I take a picture of you?
You know what I mean? I mean, you're always looking for ideas, which is why we created the Kilts and Culture Facebook group ages ago, and why it exists is so that you can go on there and ask questions and talk to people and see pictures of people's different styles and outfits. You can do the same thing in person at a festival. Yep. And you're going to see a huge variety of people doing it well, doing it okay, doing it, oh my God. So, think of it as a fact-finding mission also.
Yeah, and I'll go a step further. If you see someone that you love their sporran, or you love their kilt, or you love their jacket, or whatever, go up to them and say, like, hey, I really like your sporran. Where'd you get that? They are going to be flattered that you felt that confident and that, that much, whatever, to go up to them and say, like, actually ask the question, that they're going to be flattered, and you're going to get data, and you're going to find out about companies you never knew about.
Yep. They're gonna love the fact that you notice what they tried to do.
Yep.
Validation's good.
Agreed.
So endeth the lesson.
Oh. All right, it was that Mac? All right, Mr. Erik, what do we got?
Turn. Wait, what was his name? What was that guy's name? Mark Swan?
I don't think he...
Highland Games in Michigan? Any tips or tricks for a first-time attendee?
No, his name was Matt.
Okay.
Oh.
But it was in Michigan?
Dun, dun, dun.
All right, whoever you were, see if you
look
can find...
Look for
Mark Swan. He is also going to the games you're going to. See, it's right there.
That's all the answers. Don't show them that. We have to research everything. We don't know anything.
So, related question. Mark Swan asked us, he said, I'm going to the Highland Games in Michigan this weekend.
There's a Highland Games in Michigan? I didn't know.
There is. It's a really good one, in fact. Any tips or tricks for a first-time attendee, things to eat, people to talk to, places to see, things to see? So what's your advice for getting the most out of a festival? And we've answered this kind of thing before.
Yeah, we've answered the festival question before.
In fact, we did a whole video about it last fall.
Yes, at Celtic Classic, where we're going to be live this year. So come to Celtic Classic.
It's September 24th.
So we answered before talking about like the food to have before you go, bring an Imodium so you don't have to use the restroom while you're there. The different things to see. So let's try to take it a slightly different direction.
You and your freak. Yeah, let's take it any direction other than Imodium, okay? Please.
It's a great tip.
There's a lot. I mean, if it's a good festival, there's a lot to do.
So big festival or small festival?
I have no idea.
Okay.
But we can get into that.
Okay. I would say this. Check the map for the festival and possibly print out the stage times.
Yeah.
Get a game plan, especially if you're going with other people, like your family or friend or whatever. Get a game plan of the things you want to see, absolutely, and the things, you might like to see. So that you know where to be when. You can just wander around the festival and happen into any particular scenario. But if you really, really want to see Albanach and they're playing on the third stage on Saturday at 1 o'clock, you have to be there.
Right.
So you want to make sure you have a general game plan or at least an outline of important times and locations. Mm-hmm. Maybe print out a map for the festival. Those would be my thoughts, is having a general plan going into it.
Yeah. I think planning is key. Bottom line is you're going to want to see and do almost everything. It's more a question of prioritizing what is the most important to you, and being honest with yourself that you won't necessarily get to see and do every single thing if it's a large festival. If it's a small one, then not as much of a problem. But so yeah, look at the schedule ahead of time. Create in like a Word doc or something a personalized schedule for yourself. I know that conventions out there in the world now actually do this with applications like Sketch, which is a really great app, but Highland Games don't seem to have caught on to that technology where you can actually create a schedule on your phone that's customized to exactly what you want to do. It's awesome. So try and do that for you bare bones, especially if you are dealing with your family or somebody else. Make sure that you guys have rendezvous points. Make sure that if your wife wants to go see X band and you want to go see the caber toss and they're conflicting times, okay, I'll meet you here at such a time. Yes, you can communicate by cell phone, but it's noisy, it's chaotic. You don't know what the cell reception will be like.
They're not going to hear it ring.
Right. Yeah, that happens to me all the time.
Yep.
So have a plan ahead of time, and be sure to include buffer time. The lines at the food vendors may be a lot longer than you think. Sometimes, or beer tent, and sometimes they can be hellishly long. Make sure you build in some buffer time to accommodate things like that. Or shopping, and you're trying to get the attention of the merchant to buy the pair of earrings for your girlfriend, and they've got 5 other customers there, and you're just standing there waiting. I know what I want. I just want to buy the freaking earrings. You got to take that into account. Hydrate, and have some snacks hidden on your person in case you need energy. Best things to see and do, in my opinion, I love the Highland events. I mean, because where else are you going to see something like that? You can go to a Celtic rock show other places, but Highland athletics, where else are you going to see Highland athletics? Assuming you're going to a game or an event that has those. So I personally prioritize that. I like to prioritize more intimate musical performances because you can kind of lose yourself in them, and some of the talent I've seen doing that is amazing, like fiddlers especially. I'm a sucker for a really good fiddle player. So yeah, I can't tell you what you are most interested in seeing, but I can tell you to prioritize so you don't feel disappointment.
I will say minor businessy type point. Support and community type point. Support the vendors that are there. Support the festival. If there's a festival T-shirt, buy a T-shirt.
Yeah.
Buy some of the food from the vendors that are there. It's everyone wants to either tailgate or be on the cheap and bring in a flask and that kind of thing, and that's fine. But make sure you're also buying stuff, because if you're not, then the festival won't occur the next year, and then you can't go to see anything. So make sure you are supporting them and supporting the vendors so that they come back. You're supporting the musicians. If you see a cool band, buy a CD. Like, they're not making any money off streams.
Visit the merch table.
Exactly. Drop $15 on a CD. Buy an overpriced haggis for $12, and then buy a T-shirt from the festival staff itself for $20.
Right.
Especially if it's a free festival, because they are counting on that kind of stuff to be able to keep going forward. And if it goes away, then you're risking that nothing takes its place, and then it's a domino effect.
Exactly.
So make sure you're voting with your dollars, so to speak.
Yep.
And it's not all about money. It's about having fun. It's about the family connection. It's about all of it. But you also have to support it.
Yep. Exactly.
Indeed. All right, I'll get off my soapbox.
No, it's a good soapbox, because I mean, if you don't keep this going, it's not going to go. If not us, who? If not now, when? Or however that quote goes, I forget.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Indeed.
Have a good time. Pace yourself.
Except when it comes to the beer tent. Then, full steam ahead.
Then get there early and get there often.
Exactly.
They have Guinness on tap at Celtic Classic, by the way. So.
Fair.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Mack.
So, just as a side note, it is the 173rd Highland Games.
That's a lot.
At the St. Andrews Society of Detroit Highland Games.
Wow.
Which is the one that everyone was referring to.
That's
173rd.
That's what it says on their website, yes.
That's got to be one of the oldest in the country, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I forget.
That's impressive.
Who is it who claims to be the oldest non-stop? No, I'm thinking of St. Patrick's Day Parade. Never mind. I was thinking of something else. That's awesome.
Yeah. That's
in Detroit.
Yeah.
You'd think it'd be in New York or something.
Yeah.
Or the Carolinas.
That's crazy.
That's cool.
Like Celtic Classic is old, and that's 88, I think, was their first year.
Yeah.
So they're going up on 35 or something like that. Dang.
That reminds me of another quick tip. Make sure you got enough room on your phone for the photos and the videos you want to take. Make sure your drive is empty, ish.
Indeed.
Funk Daddy 3.0 on YouTube has an important question for Rocky. How much Imodium will fit into one sporran?
Hello, Cubs. I'm Don't Sue People Panda with an important message for you.
You don't want to over Imodium? Okay. I don't care, Eric. I'm doing it anyway. If you have any kind of stomach issues, whether you're going to go camping, if you're going to go to an all-day event, and you're worried about using a rather disgusting porta potty situation, then take an Imodium. And if you don't have stomach issues that morning, just take one. Doesn't take a lot. Just take one, and you'll be good for the day. If you take too many, you may not poop for days, and it will be a painful experience. You'll blow an O-ring. So, one Imodium, that's all I need. You're welcome. Blow an O-ring. Yes, I said that. All right, Mac.
Well, while Eric
Deliver us
I'm
from
just
this
imagining
fresh
you
hell.
like standing at the corner in a festival. It's like, yeah.
What happened to him?
Free Imodium,
Oh,
free
he blew
Imodium.
it. No, I'm thinking the coroner. What happened? How did he die? He blew an O-ring. Whip off the glasses. Insert
God.
crime drama music here.
I used to work for a very classy place.
Yes. Then
All right. Anyway, I know what you're up to, Max. So go ahead.
While Eric
reconsiders
his employment here, we're gonna go to our Kilt ambassador.
Brian Taylor is one of those guys who you meet and you can tell his brain is just going a mile a minute. A man of many interests and talents. Back in school, Brian's favorite topic was track, followed by lunch, and then history. He lives with his wife in Ellenton, Florida, who he describes as his compass and his prod. I can totally relate, Brian. His kids are grown and off on their own, by the way. Brian retired from the United States Air Force after a career spanning 25 years. He holds a master's degree in educational and instructional technology and another in English with an emphasis on teaching English as a second language. So, Brian is the 8th of 8 children, and he grew up in a multi-talented and musical family. His home was a jovial place where everyone was welcome, no questions asked, and he feels that this filled him with a generous spirit and a sense of joy. Brian first got into wearing the kilt in 2017 at the age of 55. He's since expanded his wardrobe to a very modest 12 kilts. Good job, Brian. His hobbies include woodworking, gunsmithing, and leatherwork, and Brian has turned his crafty side to making accessories for his kilts, like the cool raven-themed sporran that you see here. He also recently began learning tablet weaving in order to make his own garter ties. He's currently teaching himself how to sew and tailor as well because he wants to make his own jackets. The guy is really ambitious. Brian's personal heritage is strongly English and German, with a modicum of Scottish and Welsh mixed in. Though he doesn't claim a direct clan connection, he says he is very proud to have been adopted into the Central New York Cameron Clan Society by a good friend of his. He explains, "I got into kilt wearing probably because of a deep-seated need to be recognized. I was the 8th of 8 kids. I had mentioned for about 25 to 30 years that I'd like a kilt. Why? Well, obvious to me, I had the legs for it. Plus, it was a bit of a counterculture thing." Brian also draws joy and inspiration from the mythos and cosmology of Gallic culture. He says, "I enjoy the great stories and the family and community bonds. Since I come from a large family, that type of interaction is very important and natural for me. I try to instill that in others, and the Celtic culture has allowed me to make friends from a wide range of people." Brian usually prefers a more understated style, but enjoys punching up his gear with ideas he gets from fellow Kilts and Culture group members. Little things like, the choice of colors for flashes or matching elements as tiny as shoelace colors to match tartan. That's pretty detail-oriented. To kilt newbies, Brian says the most important thing is you have to be able to tell yourself it's okay to wear it. He says, "You see lots of posts where people say, 'Own it,' and here's how you do that. Stand up straight, shoulders back, chin slightly up and tucked, keep that steely look in your eye, smile, have fun, and remember, illegitimi non carborundum." Oh, and by the way, Brian recently passed the kilt bug on to his daughter-in-law. You can meet her as well as Brian on the Kilts and Culture Facebook group. Go ahead and say hi. They are great people. There you go. That is Brian in a small nutshell. Does not do justice to the man's energy.
Yes, and who he is as a human.
He's a booster.
Yeah,
the one
he's a
thing.
great guy.
He is never shy about stepping in and trying to give people a boost and the best advice he can
help.
on the
Yep.
group. and that's what it's about. So,
Yes.
here's to you, Brian.
Yes.
Slanchava.
Indeed. For those of you who are not currently on the Facebook group and you want to meet Brian in all of his glory, go check out the Facebook group Kilts and Culture. That is the one that the company hosts, or we host. How we host? It sounds good.
We started it,
Yes.
but we're not really in charge.
Yeah, we host the party, but we're absentee parents. It's the kids are
Yeah.
running the party at this point.
Yeah, we try to bring in some booze once in a while.
Exactly.
Some cheese puffs and things like that. It's like, how are you kids doing? And then we
Crackers and
leave.
cheese, yeah, indeed. So,
Yeah.
check it out. All right, Mr. Mac, what do we got next?
Mr. Mac.
All right.
Mr. Mac.
I think Eric will find this question a little.
Terrifying?
No, I think it's more up. It's kind of up your alley a little bit here.
All right.
So Gopher on YouTube. He was recently in Arizona for a festival,
Cool.
and he got stopped by the Kilt police.
Uh-oh.
And they told him not to use a Native American thunderbird pin as a kilt pin. The Native American friend had gifted him the pin to wear on his kilt.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a fashion faux pas?
Tell them to have a Coke and a smile.
I would give them a one finger salute.
Yeah.
It's who are they to tell you what you can and can't do with your outfit? It's not like you're doing something that's over the top, crazy, or whatever. It's you're wearing a small accessory piece that was gifted to you by a friend that means something to you.
I'm gonna guess that it's either one of two things. Either A, they thought you were watering down true Highland dress by not having a proper kilt pin, or they thought you were appropriating an Indian thing.
Native American culture, yeah.
Yeah, by wearing something. Having family in Arizona and having family who have had Navajo as friends, and my uncle who was de facto adopted into a Hopi family back in the 70s. If it's a gift, it's a gift. If this family connection is sincere, it's sincere. And so they can sod off. I mean, it's unfortunate.
Did he say whether the people asking him were annoyed that it was
did they give
a
their
Native American
reasons?
thing that he was appropriating, or that it was he's mixing Scottish and Native American thing?
It doesn't say. It just says that the Kilt police pulled him over and questioned him.
Yeah, I mean, and if it's a pin, it's not like you're wearing sacred regalia at that point. It's probably a silver piece, which is an art form that various tribes have different forms of. But it's not like you're not wearing a bonnet. Like if you're trying to ape some Lakota or something like that. You're not. It's not like you're going around making sand paintings for sale and desecrating Navajo medicine practices. You're not dressing up like a kachina. I mean, it's we were talking about Arizona, where a bolo tie is the official necktie of the state, and those are all made by, traditionally were made by Native American tribes. So yeah, it's not worth your energy to worry about it further. It's not. I don't think it was worth your time to get into an argument with them. I hope that they weren't too nasty. It's just kind of like, have a good day.
Thanks for your feedback.
Yeah.
And
See ya.
yea, lo, they descended forth from Ben Nevis with 2 tablets, and they said unto thee, Thou shalt not wear that kilt pin with that tartan. Here endeth the lesson.
Yeah. You have snobby people who will get up in arms about that. Wearing odd pieces of jewelry as mementos, as kilt pins, that goes back like forever. Okay? So there's nothing wrong with it. It's about as traditional as anything else.
Gatekeepers gonna gatekeep.
Yeah.
Period. You're mixing 2 cultures. Sure. Is it done all the time? No. And would I do it potentially personally? Probably not. But it's not. You've not broken a cardinal sin. It's fine.
Yeah.
Gatekeepers gonna gatekeep. Don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Mack, you have something else to?
Do we have an idea where the modern kilt pin, as we know it now, for most the kilt pin that we have, that you see everywhere, is always the sword with a crest
it's
or something like that.
A vertically,
You mean like who came up with the sword?
Yeah, is there a reason why it's that? I mean,
I've always wondered that. I don't know where the
that'd be a good
sword
question.
style kilt pin really originates, because if you look back at the Victorian times, the old Victorian times, which I mention all the time,
Why are they
they're-
redneck? Yeah, ye old Victorian
Don't
times.
assume,
Yeah!
don't assume redneck,
Queen
and
Victoria.
I am proud of my redneck roots. Thank you very much. But
You, Flash.
I didn't do that, just for the record. Okay,
Roscoe P. Coltrane, come
shut
on
up.
now.
Shut up.
Sibit.
Now I lost my train of thought. I'm gonna
Blanket pin.
Yeah,
Victorian
well,
times.
there are blanket pins, which Mac can comment on, and they were just kind of like a de facto a functional thing.
But tall and
so you
skinny
said-
is my point.
Correct. I think people just naturally decide that tall, skinny was a nicer looking shape because you see plenty of examples of Victorians wearing kilt pins which were in imitation of like penannular brooches and things like that. So they're actually round. A lot of them closer to what you'd expect like a cap badge to look like. Now again, they were wearing them higher up on the thigh, which is how they wore them back then because sometimes they actually were using them as a closure between the aprons. We do not do that now.
The kilt pin is a little bit of bling for your kilt. It's a slightly fun accessory that allows you to do a little something, a little something different.
Yeah, or represent. Like it's great for clan representation. I think that's probably also it probably came together with the idea of wanting to have the clan crest down there, but not wanting to have something so huge and round that it looked odd. So they thought, well, if we want the crest, but if we need to round out the design to make it something you'll actually see. So let's put it in front of a sword.
Yeah.
It's probably a natural evolution like that. But I'm very curious to find out if I can where it originally came from.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think I've
that's a
I've
cool
thought
question.
about it,
I
but
like
I
it.
never followed through to try to figure out where
I've
the
always
actual
wondered because it's cliche.
sword came from.
It's
yeah.
kind of a cliche. So where did it come in? And
Yeah.
I'm gonna bet it was like early 20th century. I'm gonna say 20s or 30s. It probably started to pick up steam as an idea.
Yeah, I
is my
agree. And
guess.
it's one of those where my if I'm going to the KISS answer, keep it simple answer, it's somebody did a sword design and it took off and that was their top seller, so they came out with other swords and then other companies kind of copied it and okay, well it's just everyone likes the swords, so that's the thing now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can technically wear almost anything as a kilt pin. As long as it's relatively good taste.
Yeah, and of a certain size. Can't be too big, can't be too small.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lapel badge wouldn't work. Any like a WWF size belt or WWE size belt thing on the leg, too much. So let's say 3 inches or so tall, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches wide. You're
Right.
in the ballpark. You're fine.
Right.
Mac.
So Carl on Facebook actually apparently did some research for us here.
Hey.
He got this from Loch Heron, McGregor, Macduff, and House of Edgar websites when he was in Scotland. So he got this from them when
From
he
the
was over there.
manufacturers.
So we'll see. It says it was allegedly based on the claymore with the clan crest to show the clan, which would have been passed down and made of pewter or silver, and it would have been around the 1900s when it became a bit more representative. So that's where he got it.
It's a little earlier than I was thinking, but that sounds reasonable. Yeah, cool. Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate that. See, it's a team effort.
Indeed.
It's a zeitgeist. It's a group thing.
Absolutely. All right, Mr.
But
Erik.
I am pro Thunderbird kilt pins for the record.
Thunderbird. Oh, I'm thinking Thundercats. Now I want to see a Lion-O kilt pin with the sword. Yes.
With the fifth the gauntlet thing.
Yeah, and it shoots like the Thundercats symbol into the sky. Awesome.
Thundercats!
Lion-O. Snarf, snarf.
Snarf.
All the 80s cartoon references.
If you have worn an alternative piece of jewelry as a kilt pin, show us. I've seen all kinds of cool stuff, especially in the nerd community. Nerd! Carla McLaughlin.
McLaughlin?
Yeah. Asks us very simply, which is better, a small Celtic festival or a large one? It relates to other things we have discussed about Celtic festivals, but I don't know if we've exactly articulated what are the advantages.
So, which is better, a small Celtic festival or a large one?
Yes.
They're both beautiful in their own ways. It's both have their place. Just like seeing in my brain, I'm going to which is cooler, seeing I'll say U2, seeing U2 in a big arena or seeing a band you love in a small Seeing Piper Alley up in Boston in a small club,
Right.
Like it's a different experience. One is much more intimate. One is much more you feel like you're right there next to the artist, and the other is it's a crowd experience. Enjoying. I'm gonna go hands everywhere.
You think you're gonna slap me in the
I know.
face?
When I slap you, you'll know it. But the other is a much more a crowd enjoyment experience, and it's the whole big rock show, the whole light show.
Yeah.
So there's different reasons to like both. If I'm going to a small Celtic festival, it's more for fun. It's probably going to be more family friendly. I'm guessing it's going to have a lot more small, intimate things. If I'm going to a big festival, there's going to be more stuff to see.
Less stinky porta potties.
Possibly, they'll have less of them, so they may still stink.
I mean, that's the best Celtic festival is the one you can go to. Okay.
Fair.
If you only have a small one in your area, then consider doing a road trip sometime to get to a big one. Vice versa. If you are sick of the crowds, you're sick of the noise, you're sick of the chaos, you're sick of the lines, you're sick of the heat at the big, huge festival that you go to, and your ears are ringing with, the sound of the pipe bands off in the corner practicing and getting their drones aligned. So it's like you just hear. Used to bug my wife. Used to drive my wife crazy. And the sound of an announcer just going on the field, we have this one. If you want to get away, if you want to get away from that and have easier parking, then go further afield and find a small festival. It's a labor of love, no matter who's putting it on. Small festivals definitely need your support. It is easier to meet people and make friends potentially at a small festival, but that's not to say you can't at a large festival. Absolutely, there are advantages to both. It'd be hard for me to choose between the two of them. Again, I think it comes down to prioritizing what you want to do, what you want to get out of the festival. If you're going because you want to see a huge rock show, then you go to a festival where a big band is going to be playing. If you want to go and talk to clan people and not feel rushed, learn about your heritage, or just relax and enjoy some food and people watching, then go to a small festival.
I would say
no
this.
wrong answer.
No, I'm scared. No, you can almost get both. I haven't been to even like Celtic Classic or Dublin, Ohio, where it's huge amounts of people. I get the same, to some degree, I get the same vibe from both. There's just more of the same thing.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of twisting a little bit in my brain, like for the headlining band, big tent, end of the night, Saturday night. Yes, there's going to be more of a crowd. There's going to be more lights and more, but you'll still have the same fun thing even at a smaller festival. So I don't know. They're both great, and I would also say this: it's one of those where it's just because it's bigger doesn't mean they're less deserving of support. They have a bigger machine. I'm not saying you were, but they have a bigger machine that they have to feed.
Yeah.
In the same, like a larger company or a medium company has just a bigger machine that they have to feed than a smaller company. Mm-hmm. So it's all of it. So yes, do both. Yeah. It all supports the culture. So and it all supports the community. It's all fun stuff to go see. So all of it.
I'll say I miss the Green Lane. Excuse me. I miss the Green Lane Festival. There used to be a very small festival near where I live that we used to go to, and my SCA group actually used to do a demo there. So in some ways, that festival always felt like home. It was small, it was intimate, it was a beautiful setting, and it was just kind of like you went there and you chilled out and you're like, yeah, I'm home. These are my people, this is my vibe, this is cool. And I think it's a little harder to get into that at a big festival with a lot of crowds and a lot of noise.
I'll take that a step further and say that if you live in, like, using Celtic Classic again, if you live in downtown Bethlehem, that is your hometown festival. Every September it's going to be a big outdoor party. So you will find the games that you like as your home event. But to speak directly to Green Lane, once it's gone, don't come back. Mm-hmm. So that's the point, is that you have to support it and you have to keep going and you have to get other people to go to make sure that you have the opportunity to go see it the next year. Because, there's been dozens of festivals that I've gone to or still want to go to, and I'm like, like Facebook memory timeline BS. Like, oh yeah, I remember like 8 years ago I was at this festival. Yeah, that one's not there anymore either. And that's kind of it's depressing.
Yeah, and COVID did that to a number of festivals.
COVID
also.
screwed a lot of stuff up.
Still, we had someone just comment a little bit ago that festival in Indiana is canceled again this year.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
there's still areas that are still unfortunately having to cancel.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have a video we did where we talked about what goes into planning a festival. If you want to check that out on the YouTube channel, I'll put the link in here in the edited version of this. You can go back and check that out. And it's a lot of work. So you definitely got to get out there, like he said.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're both great. If you got the time, go for them both.
Agreed.
And
I'll take it a step further.
wait, that's two
No,
steps further.
I'm sprinting
three.
down the road at this
Holy
point.
crap, dude! We got other
The-
questions to answer.
Nope, just this one.
Okay.
Till the end of the show.
All right, fine. I'll just be over here.
See, now I'm forgetting what the hell my point was. No. Oh, I know what it was. If you are near a festival and you have a festival that you like, contact the people that put it on. See if you can volunteer. Even if you give a couple hours to empty trash cans or set up barriers or help with stage.
He's calling you
stuff.
out.
Exactly. Suck it up. Do your part, pal.
Ask not what your festival can do for you. Ask what you can do for your festival.
Yes, exactly that.
Right.
But no, help pitch in. Do your part. Yes. I don't know. Now I'm giving you homework. But it's going to be rewarding because the festival will then mean more to you. And you'll have new friends who do that kind of stuff too. All right.
So, did you pick big or small?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Medium. They're both good. I like small festivals personally because I like the relaxation and I like seeing obscure bands.
I like big
And
festivals
and-
because it's the opposite of his answer.
And I like short food lines. I like big festivals I cannot buy. You other brothers can't deny.
Band walks in with an itty bitty banjo in your face. I get sprung. Wait. Yeah. The strings they sprung off. That's what I mean. Indeed. Cheers.
Yeah.
Deliver me, Mac. What do we got next?
Take us away, Mac.
All right, so we got Jackal Nerf on YouTube.
Jackal Narf?
Jackal Narf or Jackal Nerf?
I'm NERF, so take it which way you want to go.
Nerf. I like Nerf better. Nerf. What are we going to do tonight, Brain?
Trying to take over the world, Pinky.
Same thing we do every night.
Yes. Well, if you want to purchase a little Pinky or the Brain, they came into Brittany's work at the thrift store. So
Seriously?
there was at least one of them that I know that came in.
Plushies or figurines?
They're little stuffed animals about yay big.
That's very tempting.
It's a good thing we stay on topic.
They're
Hey,
Scottish. What are
you
talking
brought
about?
up
So
the
if you're
cartoons.
in Collegeville and visit Liberty Thrift, please see Brittany and tell her that you want to see the Pinky and the Brain doll. Please, hundreds of you, please go. That's probably that's more people that watch our show. Tens of you, go. All right, Mac, please ask us a question.
All right, so Jackal's asking, when looking for particularly rare tartans, where should one look? He's a Cochrane. It's quite difficult to find much besides the modern one. Any help?
Let me guess. I'm getting a signal. He wants the Cochrane Azure tartan.
Yes.
Yes. Getting a strong signal. No, I think he asked the question the last time, or we have it collected somewhere. You're actually going to answer it.
I got William Holmes.
He asked
Not-
about the. Oh, there's two. Dun,
No,
dun, dun.
I think his secret identity is Jackal Nerf. William Holmes is Jackal Nerf. He just takes off his glasses.
I know.
What would you advise when one is trying to find a rare tartan for sale? I'm a Cochrane, so any of our alternative tartans are difficult to find. I've been looking for Cochrane Azure for a year with no luck.
Cheerio, Governor. The
Got
start here.
you.
Found you out, pal. We're unveiling you to the
All right,
world.
let's focus. Let's focus. Okay, we do have an answer for this. So
Yes. If you just because a tartan exists in the tartan register does not mean it is actually stock supported by any of the mills. You can have something custom woven, but it may be a bit pricey.
Right.
So basically the mills are just going to weave what they view are commercially viable. And if you go onto our website, we're going to show you all the tartans from all the mills that are stocked. But if you go to the Scottish Tartan Register, you can see everything that exists, all thousands, like 7,000 or whatever it is now. Cochrane Blue, it's very similar to the regular Cochrane tartan. So you have, in my mind, you have two options. Well, three. One, if you're independently wealthy, pony up, have it custom woven just for you. You have to allot a lot of time because it takes time to have it woven and made into a kilt.
12?
Yeah, 12 months? Plus, depending on what the time frame.
Weeks or months
has.
or
weeks.
Yeah.
12 months would be excessive.
A year.
Yeah. Look at you with the times. The option B, you can select a tartan, like a universal tartan or something that is close. So if you're doing a Cochrane Azure, which is like 2 shades of blue, maybe pick like the Earl of St. Andrews tartan or something that is close.
But the universal, you wouldn't choose another clan tartan that's close. You'd choose
I wouldn't know.
Like a universal that's close.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think that would be. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Alternatively, if you have other family members who want to get together for a group order of something, economies of scale. If you have 5 or 6 people who all kind of want to go in on the same thing, great, you can get your price down a bit if you want to have something custom woven.
And we've seen that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just people need to know that they have the option. So it can take some legwork, but in the age of the internet, that's not necessarily so bad. Hall is always the example I bring up with this. I mean, he went around and got
the whole clan society bought bolts of cloth. He fronted it.
Okay.
He ponied up, spent all the money, and then they just kind of ticked off, and then we reimbursed him for the bolt.
Got it.
But yeah.
But you were talking about like a national organization. We're
Correct.
talking about the whole North American division, if you will.
Yeah.
So it can be done. What's good for that is your genealogy connections. If you've ever done genealogy and met people through that, that's a great way to find people who are interested in a project like that. I'm not joking. Sometimes you meet people who you're related to in an ancillary way through those the meeting sites, the networking sites that are out there for the genealogy community.
No, I'm
just the clans community.
I'm picturing the little leaf pops up on Ancestry and it's like, oh, connected to this person. Hey, you're a Cochrane too. Can I sell you a Cochrane Azure tartan?
Well, that'd be a little crass. It's not what I was suggesting.
A bit, yes.
But it can be done. Yeah. Sympathies, though, because it is challenging. The purpose of the register is to document history, and it can definitely lead you to kind of oh,
yeah,
because it's a library, and just because it's there does not mean it's being woven.
Yeah,
it's basically things are not going to get woven unless the mills or a mill feel there is a profit motive to do so. Supply and demand. So. Yeah.
Imagine if, putting yourself in their position for a hot second. Imagine if they're, are you going to weave 7,000 tartans to hopefully sell some at some point? You're going to be wasting a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of space, designing all this stuff and, storing it on the shelves. Right. So they're just weaving what they think can support their business. And then you're hoping that, people who design their own tartan are going to come to you, or if something has been designed and you see Cochrane Azure, I'd really like that one. You get a group together or an individual, and then they go at it.
Yeah.
Mr. Mack.
So, along those lines, especially if you're looking for something that's rare to get, or what happens if you find that it's restricted by an individual? How do you go about going from that step?
That's another can of worms, but
yeah, the restrictions are a little tricky, especially in the tartans from 100 or even 40 plus years ago generally aren't going to have restrictions in the same way that current day ones do for the most part. But if you go into the tartan register and you see hey, here's this weird and wonderful tartan, I really want that one, but it has a restriction listed on there. The tartan register is going to also record the name of the designer, and they have to also give their email address, their contact details. Now, here's the problem. What happens if that dude dies? Does the tartan die with it? Is anyone else allowed to weave it? It's kind of a weird gray area. So if a tartan was designed in 1992, let's just say, for instance, the Pennsylvania State tartan, and you have some contact details for the person who designed it, but they don't have that email anymore, or the relatives have died, or that person has died. When I spoke to Brian Wilton back in the day, basically what he said to me was, look, document everything you've tried to do in order to get in contact with the person, and then move forward with it. It's not necessarily the most legally sound advice, but it's you're doing your best. A lot of these things, especially with the mills over in Scotland, they're not set up to be legal agreements. They're set up as handshake deals, and there's a certain honor in what we are doing here and what the mills are doing. So if I went to the mill and said, hey, I want to weave this tartan, they're gonna like, well, it's restricted, so you're gonna have to get the guy's permission, and then we're gonna ask you, if you're the designer, for the permission to go forward with it. But it's, as long as you're not doing anything untoward, you don't generally have a problem. Or if you say, look, I've contacted this, I've contacted this, I've contacted this, and I cannot get a hold of the person. It was designed in 1982, and Mr. Smith doesn't live there anymore. I've called the phone number, it's a different person. Like, what are you going to do? Either, there's two options. The tartan dies and no one does it anymore, and then why the heck does it exist in the first place? Or you do what you can to move it forward. Does that make sense?
That's a very interesting question.
Yeah, it's a gray area for sure.
It's like, yeah, how do you interpret the restrictions? And some people will put different restrictions on it. Like, it may be as simple as like, well, if you want to use this Cochrane tartan, you have to say you have to be a Cochrane. It could be that simple. Or it could be as complicated as, if you do not have a signed letter from the acting officer of this regiment of the army for whom this tartan was designed as a letter of love, you are not permitted to wear this tartan. You must show your rank and serial number and blah, 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 blah. Some people get very uptight about it. Some people, it's a copyright thing. Like, it's actually, they intend it to be for business or to represent an organization, like the
Disney tartan,
Disney,
or Burberry,
Disney.
or
I was thinking like the hurling.
Hello Kitty.
I was thinking about the North American Hurling Society.
Yep.
When we did that, or not the hurling, curling.
Curling.
The curling
Yeah,
society.
curling,
And as like, if you tried to use their tartan, they'd be like, oh, no, that's for the curling people only, and we use it as a fundraiser, so no, you cannot have it. So your mileage will vary depending on how you do it, but
they talk just like that too. It's horrible.
No. Yeah. Well, they're Canadian, so it's probably more like, oh no, hey,
No,
that tartan's for our fundraising efforts this fall. You can't use that, eh?
We love our Canadian.
I'm sorry.
friends. Yes.
That was horrible.
Indeed.
That was mean. Sound more North Dakotan
But
anyway.
no, it's a weird gray area. So yes, contact a reputable company, contact a reputable mill, and as long as what you're trying to do isn't anything underhanded or shifty, you should be fine.
Yeah. I agree.
Indeed. Was that Mac? Was that you? Yes.
That was
Mr.
Max,
Erik.
so I think it's my turn. Okay, going from the complex to the ridiculous, and this is totally out of order on my list, but because of Mr. Holmes. Bob Bursell asked us, is it okay to wear normal length shoelaces with Highland brogues?
Normal length shoelaces with Highland brogues.
With Highland brogues.
Would I, or would you, ever wear normal length shoelaces with Highland brogues? No, at that point I would wear wingtips.
I would get those, those elasticized kids things that they go into the curly cues at the end, so you just like pull them out, they go, and they're like rainbow and sparkly and stuff. I would do that.
Now I just want to see like Velcro ghillie brogues. Where-
Yeah. And that's even, you just slide into your ghillie brogues, man. There's no tongue to get in the way, so why not? You just like, whoop, slide right in.
Yeah, but does the Velcro go up the leg? Like twist around up the leg and then Velcro closed?
The laces are actually just Velcro. Yes.
Yeah.
No, it's. We're gonna go back to the whole thing where where the socks just have the laces painted onto them. Yes,
Right.
exactly.
Right. Like Adam did that one time where he painted the flashes onto his socks.
Yes.
Oh man. No, seriously, it's. Do you want to do this or should I do this? Okay.
I gave my answer.
Ghillie brogues are what's called a survival. They are basically an honorific piece of clothing. They're designed to harken back to a time when the Highlanders were wearing shoes like the traditional ghillies or bog shoes, whatever you want to call them, or Highland moccasins, which were basically rough shoes, and they had laces that went up your ankle or up onto the muscle, so that if you got the shoe stuck in mud, you could pull your foot out of the mud and not lose your shoe. So the idea that somebody came up with at some point was, oh yes, we should honor our ancient ancestors by wearing these modern shoes that have laces that go up the ankle. It's supposed to be, it's injecting symbolism into a modern invention, which you didn't have to do. They're kind of cool looking, and they do kind of add a little point of interest. And it's kind of like, you know, you got the kilts and the sporran, and you got the hose, and you got the ghillie brogues with the laces. Just kind of completes the package in a way. It looks kind of cool, but it's not necessary. And they are not something that people have had to wear, or, you know, they're not older than like 120 years, really.
Which is why I wouldn't wear regular laces with it.
Yeah, so you're kind of missing the point. There's no point in doing that. And at that point, people are not going to tell it's a ghillie brogue anyway, because unless you're wearing like really bright neon orange kilt hose so you can see the space between where the tongue isn't. Right, Mac's all down for that. That's why ghillie brogues don't have a tongue, is the other thing. So I wouldn't worry about it. If that's your, if there's, I don't know why you're asking. If there's a reason why you're concerned about doing that, like if you find that the laces fall down, I mean, some people complain about the laces falling down. Surprise, surprise, you're wearing something on an inverted cone. You think the odds are that the laces could fall down? Yeah. So
you're being mean to this person.
I got my blood up. I don't care for ghillie brogues. I think.
Dare you ask such an asinine question, sir?
Yeah.
Good day.
Good day, sir.
I said good day.
They're cool. They're just not my jam, and I would just wear regular nice wingtips.
No,
So
correct. The right answer is
the short answer is
just wear wingtips.
Don't worry about it.
There's, like we discussed earlier, there's Highland wear evolves in the same way fashion evolves, but it evolves at a snail's pace over a longer period of time. So at some point, ghillie brogues were brand new. At some point, the Prince Charlie was brand new. At some point, the regimental doublet was new. So it kind of evolves slowly over time. So the things that you see current day that, hey, this is part of tradition, at some point it was a new thing. At some point, Black Watch was made up as a tartan. So it all evolves from somewhere. Now, ghillie brogues are here to stay, like them or not.
pretty much.
They're here to stay. They have been accepted as a part of Highland dress. Therefore, period, they're here. So I would say either wear them with longer laces, or if you don't like them, just wear a pair of regular, brogues or, wingtips with, shorter laces, and just be done with it, and don't worry about the laces.
Pretty much.
Indeed.
Although I'm really intrigued about the springy laces idea now. Yeah.
No. Please no.
I love the fact that Mac and I are both
Don't
on the
make it a
same
thing.
wavelength.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah. So we are such goofballs.
Or the things that when you were first learning to tie shoes, they were like a little animal that clamped over.
Yeah.
Those were like right in
Right. You could have Highland Coup.
Yeah. See, there we go.
Or you could have Loch Ness monsters or unicorns. Love it.
You people.
And that way, it's kind of like, it's almost like a buckle brogue that way. So,
Get out.
okay.
All right, Mr. Mac.
Well, speaking of animals, Duncan Sims on YouTube is asking, do you all know of any genuine Celtic animal symbols or zodiacs, any associations that could be used in art or design works? So he's looking for Celtic animal symbols.
Genuine Celtic animal symbols.
That's kind of a vague term for me, at least. I can think of a couple of ideas on this, but go ahead.
I'm going to go the obvious answers. Unicorn, national symbol of Scotland.
Yeah.
Imaginary creature, but still national symbol of Scotland.
Right.
Rampant lion or lion. I feel like I was in a Michael Jackson Thriller video.
No, then we have to do it this way. Are we going to do it? Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, sorry about that.
In all seriousness.
The other, I'm going to go like weird.
Stag.
Stag.
Fine. Okay.
I'm going to steal all the thunder.
Okay.
All of it.
No, you're not, because I have one thing I'm going to say you probably won't think of, but go ahead.
Oh, I got one.
We'll go.
All right. Stag.
Right.
See, now I'm trying to steal all the thunder. The weird random one I was going to say. Puffin. Yes, the puffin.
I like that.
cute, adorable little birdie. Beep, beep, beep,
Yep,
on the
I like
Isles.
that. Yep.
Seal will be another one that's
Sea lion.
Sea lion seal is a Scottish animal.
And Irish.
Yeah.
Selkies.
What's what?
Selkies. There's a mythical creature related to sea lions.
Yep.
Very,
Yep.
Yeah.
Trying to think of any other Scottish animals. The red squirrel. Is a Scottish animal.
Highland cat. Highland wildcat.
Heelan Coo.
Kylo. Yep.
Highland cow.
Coo. Yep.
What other animals? Mac. Yes, he's googling it. You're cheating.
Wild
no,
haggis.
no cheating.
Let me take
Boar?
this. Boar. Let me
Boar?
take this in a slightly different direction. There are. I can't answer to Zodiac. Now there are.
The Minotaur.
I know people who have. I know that there is research on Northern European versions of Zodiac signs. I am not sure what the provenance of people figuring out that they are legit or not. I know that there is. I'd have to ask my friend Josh, who's actually over in freaking Norway studying right now. But he and other people have researched the fact that in at least in Germanic old societies, they had their own names for the constellations before the Greek stuff came north. Okay, so like for instance, Orion's belt is sometimes referred to as Frigga's distaff. Are there Celtic equivalents of that? I don't know. So I can't really answer the whole Zodiac idea. In terms of animal imagery that has resonance in Celtic culture, the most obvious one is the animals associated with the apostles, which is a huge theme in the Book of Kells. So you basically have it's the winged lion for
Oxen, the
Yep.
bird,
yeah,
and the lion.
Yeah.
And there's one man. Is the fourth.
Right.
Yep.
So basically, there's that on the Christian side of stuff. Traditional mythic animals would be things like you were talking about, all these animals that he just named, but then you also have the swan was a very important animal.
Dragon.
Dragon to some extent. The crane or heron was a popular medieval animal. Fox is a very big mythic character. And then I think there's a fish. I think there's
Salmon.
Salmon?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Score.
So basically, you can find any animal that you can find a representation of in medieval art would be a source of inspiration. And I'm not saying it has to be super old Celtic art either, going all the way back to Book of Kells or something. I mean, but think about people in pre-industrial society, the animals that they cared about, and that can be inspiration for whatever you're trying to create here.
It's generally animals used for sustenance or warmth layers and things like that.
Or
There's
that
a
you
lot of
respected their power, that they
Yes,
had they held
yes.
innate power that over nature, or in a sense that, like, if they could kill you, wolves come to mind.
They're puppies.
That's why they bred wolfhounds, because wolves can kill you. So, the lamb of God, of course, know. So,
Mr. Mack, you've not done any research on the
No,
Googles.
none.
So this is all off the cuff, top of the head. What do you got as you read your phone?
So, how about a golden eagle, white stag,
yep,
crane, green
Yep.
dragon,
yep,
seal, seahorse,
okay.
seagull, bear, fox,
Wait, where are you getting these from?
hawk. I am getting them from. I gotta find the actual website. I'm on the image of it. It's Find Out Your Celtic Tree and Signed. It's on the. It's
Now,
on the
okay,
YouTube.
wait a minute.
Or on the So
Be careful with that.
I am, but I
Yeah.
am also showing. There's some stuff here.
Sounds like Newage to me. You familiar with Newage?
There's also a
sewage?
bee,
No,
an
Newage,
owl,
the New Age.
a hare,
Hare, yes.
wren, otter.
They didn't say owl, did they?
They did.
Dun, dun,
No.
dun.
No. Owl is a symbol of death. Owl is a harbinger of
Well,
doom.
if you're then between May 13th and June 9th, don't pick that one.
I'll call BS on
Go
this.
with the bee then.
No.
Who
Here,
is gonna
can I
die? Who?
interject here?
Who?
Sure.
KAOTM, watch out for what you find on the internet. You have a lot of people in the
Don't ever listen to Mac.
Badger.
Badger. Okay, well I have to allow that just because
Yeah.
badgers are awesome.
Badgers are good. They don't give up.
Right. There's a whole. We could go on for a long time about this, so I don't think we
I don't
should.
know. This
But-
same graphic comes up in quite a bit of sources.
That doesn't mean that it's.
I'm just
Valid.
saying. I'm not saying it's valid. I'm just saying it comes up quite a bit.
A lot
Does
of
it-
people drinking the
Does,
Kool-Aid.
does it have your crystal that you should be aligning your chakras to also?
It has. This one has the tree
Yes, Mac is an amethyst.
The color, the animal, and the gemstone.
QED. Be careful what you're looking at when you're looking at stuff online in terms of anything that is claiming to be Celtic or Germanic, for that matter, spiritual stuff. Check your sources, find legitimate authors. Be leery of anything that comes from Llewellyn Publishing. They got some good books now, but
Don't do your research live on air,
right?
While we're
Right.
in the middle of discussing things.
If you can imagine it being sold in a tourist shop, it may not be legitimate. If it lines up almost exactly with the Zodiac you're used to, like the Chinese Zodiac or the Greek Zodiac, it might be something somebody invented in the last 30 years.
I'm not saying Mac is completely wrong.
No, I'm just saying that the person who asked the question, you got a big quest in front of you. If you're interested in trying to correlate ancient Celtic culture with or Gallic culture with things like star signs or that kind of cosmological thinking, it's going to take a lot of research. So take your time. If you're just talking about art inspiration, look at medieval art. And look at the landscape. Look at photography of it's the beauty of the landscape of the places we talk about is in some ways all the inspiration you need.
Yep.
So
I would say
that's easy.
Yes, and I would say look at Book of Kells, Book of Duro. Look at specific manuscripts that are going to have embellished things.
Pictish standing stones.
Anything Pictish art that they don't really know what all the symbols mean, but
like the beast.
Yes,
there's a particular animal that nobody knows exactly what it is on Pictish stones called the Pictish beast, and nobody knows what it is.
Yeah, but it's still beautiful symbolism.
Right.
Period.
Right.
So yes.
Eric, the one I thought you were going to go with that you didn't say, or that you didn't end up
crow?
saying, was the crow,
Raven.
raven.
Again,
butterfly.
recommended as a personal symbol.
I thought you were going to go butterfly.
Is that in there?
It comes up.
Is it a zodiac sign?
It comes up as.
I want Eric himself as a zodiac sign.
I could see a butterfly as a Christian symbol of resurrection.
It comes up a lot in just in general Celtic animal searches.
Interesting.
Butterfly pops up in there. So
neat.
Personal theory.
Didn't know that one.
Butterfly. Somebody screwed it up and it's stuck. Should be flutter by.
I agree. I completely agree.
Indeed.
You ever really think about butterflies? Guess me is that they're beautiful from a distance, but when you look at them close up, they're like. There's some animals, some insects, you just don't want to see them close up. It's like
I hate insects. Oh, I hate insects. I get so angry at insects.
Okay, this has been a hell of a Shaggy Dog show. I hope that answer was helpful.
Not at all. None of this is helpful.
Good luck with the research.
It's okay.
If you're
Keep
making
thinking.
art, please show us your art somehow, because I would love to see it.
Absolutely.
Love anything. Tattoo designs? That's awesome. That's always
A
good.
close-up of a butterfly face.
You're the
Yes,
Zodiac
exactly.
sign, yeah.
It's part Cthulhu, part.
I was going to say, I was born under the Eldritch Horror sign. Yeah.
All right, who was that? You or Mac?
That was Mac.
All right, don't do that again. Eric, what do we got next?
When you get into stuff,
Oh,
you get me
I
up
know.
on my soapbox
That's why I
because
love
there's
live.
so much misinformation out there.
A wee bit.
A wee bit.
We try not to add to it for the record.
All right, this one's going to be in your wheelhouse, okay?
Okay.
Get ready to put your avuncular advice for the, okay.
Focusing.
You ready? Okay.
Focusing.
JS from Texas is saying to me, I've been looking into getting into a kilt. I don't get any blood on my side. I just like kilts. I live in Texas, and I can honestly say I have never seen one out in the wild, so to speak, except at maybe the Ren Fair. I'm in my early 50s now, so I'm kind of in that get off my lawn phase of my life. Also, I have a shaved head and a gray beard, so okay, he's kind of get that give up part of his life. However, so he's saying maybe I just won't care what other people think, but I'm not sure. Have reactions to wearing a kilt in public changed in recent years? What sort of a reaction should I expect? Are people more or less confused as to how to react to you if you're wearing a kilt? I think he's talking about the social dynamics in the past few years about, clothing and gender and all that kind of stuff, but more broadly, like, if there's nobody in his area who's wearing a kilt, is he going to get a lot of pushback, or since he's at the age bracket he is, they're just going to figure, crazy old man, so what? Go ahead. How can you encourage him?
There's a how old did he say he was?
50s.
50s. Okay. There's, I forget where I saw it or heard it, but when you are in your, speaking about being angry, when you're in your 20s, you have a righteous anger. You're angry against the world. You're going to change things. Da da da. When you are old, you're curmudgeonly. It's just that old coot. He's just old and angry. And when you're midlife, you're just an ass. Like you're just you're just an angry guy or a jerk.
Right.
I can't wait to get to my 50s to be able to be the old and curmudgeonly guy, not just the angry jerk that I am now. So there's a certain amount of it's a mental curb. To quote Henry Rollins, it's a mental curb this high. Once you get over it and you're just like, nope, this is just what's going to happen. Period. You just go out and you do what you want to do, and consequences be damned. It doesn't matter whether people make comments or not make comments. I would say, to answer his question directly, possibly I'm getting less questions now than 10 years ago, or maybe less odd
I would
looks
agree.
now than I am 10 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm more cognizant of people around me when I'm out in a kilt now than I was 10 years ago. I'm less nervous about it maybe now than I was 10 years ago, but that's more my personal kilt journey, if you will, versus anything else societally based. But it's just, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And if people have an issue with that, that's their issue. That's not my issue. I don't have to care. There's, what was the other thing? It's anger is a gift that you don't have to accept. So if somebody comes up to you, I'm getting all philosophical on this one. If somebody comes up to you and they're pissy about it, or they're going to say something rude or whatever, you don't have to accept their insult. You don't have to accept their anger. It's just like, okay. And you turn around and leave, and you leave that anger with them. It is a beautiful thing. You don't have to care. I've reached that place where I just don't care. You've talked about your, the get off my lawn kind of place. Yeah, get there. And
power.
Just, it's your internal power of not caring and knowing your mind, knowing your heart, knowing who you are, and just consequences be damned is a beautiful, empowering thing where you just, you let go of all of that and you just do what you do.
Yeah. In a nutshell. Have a good night.
Thanks.
See ya.
No, it's...
I think actually I would say that it is easier now than in some ways it has been in previous years. If trying to cast my mind back to the olden times, I got more weird looks or sniggers or from the guys in the car 15, 20 years ago than I do now. Kilts in general, as well as whatever alternative fashion you want to talk about, is definitely more accepted now. Now, I can't speak to your community. I do not live in Texas. I live in Pennsylvania, near Philadelphia. Philadelphia.
Go Eagles!
Yeah, go Eagles! Go Flyers! So, we are part of Gritty Nation, so it's a very accepting area, as long as you don't mess with us. But in all seriousness, I think it is easier now to do this. Witness the fact that the people who are watching this show, this didn't exist 20 years ago. The culture wasn't rolling the way it is now. The variety of fashions available was not available back then. Things have progressed. You are in a very good space and time to get into this. And if they don't like it, then bless their hearts.
I'll take it a step beyond. Find your community. Find others who enjoy the same things you do. Find others who like the kilt, who are trying to express their heritage, who are trying to build this thing and align yourselves one way or another with them. If people don't like you or don't like the thing you're wearing or whatever, who cares?
Right.
To my other quote, those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. It's all about you being comfortable and finding your kin, your tribe, so to speak, and enjoy that. Life is too friggin' short to give a poop what other people think about what you are doing. Period.
I'll make a good t-shirt. Those who don't.
Yeah.
Those who mind don't matter, and those who matter don't mind.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds like a
a
kilt
motto.
banner,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a bit long, but yes.
Yeah. But to that, you may not be seeing anybody else in your community, like when you go out to the Walmart or Home Depot or whatever, wearing a kilt. I remember going to the Home Depot in a kilt for the first time, and people were just like, "Whoa, dude, that's badass," But because you're hauling lumber around, So, but I digress. Go to those venues where it's more likely. You said the Ren Fair. So the first time you're wearing it, go to a Ren Fair. Go to a Celtic band concert. Go to something like that where it's like there may not be anybody else in a kilt, but the kilt will be in keeping with the theme of where you're at. Irish pub. He's wearing a kilt. Oh, cool. Yeah. That's kind of keeping with the venue. Celtic band. Oh, yeah, cool. And that will give you a chance to get used to wearing it. We always say practice wearing it around the house at home a little bit so you feel comfortable in it, comfortable in your own skin. You're not conscious, like constantly looking down. It's like, does I look okay? When you go out in public, because you want to walk with confidence. So go out to those places first to get used to the idea, and then you're going to be fine.
2 other things. 1, virtual community. Join a Facebook group, maybe one called Kilts and Culture. Find support for the things that you like and find common interests. Yeah. Number 2, when you go out, trust when you look back and you do it and you're going to believe me. Hear me now, believe me later, whatever the Saturday Night Live skit thing was. When you go out and do it, you're going to get overwhelmingly positive comments. You are going to go out and wear a kilt, and you are going to hear much more than the, "Hey, nice skirt, buddy." Screw those guys. What you're actually going to hear is, "Dude, it's awesome you're wearing a kilt. I have one at home. I didn't think anyone else wore it." You're going to have like random positive experiences and people who wish they would have worn a kilt, and you're actually emboldening them to be able to wear their kilt and to do things and express themselves because you have the guts to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Be a trendsetter, be a leader. Don't just worry about, "Oh, well, those little kids are going to yell at me. Don't worry about that. Do it.
Right.
Suck it up, buttercup, do it.
Yeah. Has it changed in recent years? Yes, it's gotten better. There you go.
Suck it up. I like my answer better. Suck it up, buttercup, do it.
You don't know. This guy could beat your ass. He didn't say.
He's got to find me. I'm hiding.
Yeah, right. He's got the beard. I'm imagining like go full board, do beard beads, and the black T-shirt, big Celtic cross, and you're just
He can't beat me up. I'm lovable. Sorry, sir. No, it's fine. You're going to be fine.
Stompy boots.
Get out there and do it.
Yep. No.
Indeed.
Go for it.
Mr. Mack, last one. We'll give it to you.
All right. Save this one.
Oh no.
So
saved it. No,
this will make
what
Rocky's
hath Mac
eyes
wrought?
bleed. It's Robert from Facebook.
End of the day. I want my eyes to bleed. Can you blink my eyes bleed?
I would like to know why there aren't Paisley kilts. If Paisley and Tartan are both Scottish, why no Paisley kilts?
Sure, because Paisley's not actually Scottish. End of question.
Actually,
Paisley's starting in India. It's Scots perfected it from the town of Paisley, but it is based on Indian patterns.
For the record, his eyes are not bleeding. You gotta try harder, dude. You've been asking us to answer this question for a while now. So, Mac, I guess you let him through. Patience is a virtue. Patience is rewarded sometimes. It's not a thing because nobody thought to make it a thing. Could you do it now? I guess. Would it look weird when you pleat up Paisley? Yeah. You know how we talk about things being either gridular and linear or round and blobby? And we always say that round blobby things do not go well with a lot of kilt fashion. This is like the perfect example of that. Why would you have like, LSD, hippie, flowy Paisley stuff
Tie-dye.
on a kilt?
I can't believe I said that.
Tie-dye kilts actually, but that's different.
No, but pleating to the actual pattern.
How would you pleat to the Paisley?
Hold on. Here's where I'm going. Flailing all about. Actually, where my mind originally went was, okay, anytime you're printing a pattern or you're weaving a pattern, it's generally going to repeat at a certain point. Mm-hmm. So, sure. including Paisley and camouflage. So, if you're going to make a camouflage kilt or a Paisley kilt, I won't admit, someone I know who may be me made a camouflage kilt at some point in my youth when I should be shot in.
It's bright yellow urban camouflage.
Yes.
I've seen it.
Here's the thing. Pleating it, there is a certain point where it repeats, but it's not like an 8-inch repeat. It's like a 14 or 18-inch repeat.
Okay.
So the pleats either have to be super deep to get the pattern to match up,
Okay.
or it's just a dog's dinner across the back.
Yeah.
Paisley would actually be the same thing, where the pattern repeats, but odds are it's going to be super, super deep pleats, so it wouldn't look good because then the pleats are going to be too wide or it's going to be too much material in the kilt. So I wouldn't do it. And Paisley, it's not tartan, don't do it.
Yeah, I just think it'd look weird. I mean,
It could be done. Anything could be made into a kilt.
yeah, but pleating, yeah, anything can be made into a kilt. True.
Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
doesn't mean you should.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's an amusing question, and I get the humor potential in it, but yeah, it's just like it's round and blobby, and you're putting pleats into it, so you have cut off blobs. I don't know. It just doesn't feel aesthetic to me.
Now, the way to actually make my eyes bleed,
Yeah.
tartan kilt, Paisley shirt. That
I
would give me nightmares.
Buckle brogues.
and buckle brogues
Buckle
with
brogues.
paisley socks,
I was going to say dice toes, or
argyle socks, not
Yeah.
kilt hose.
Yes.
Argyle socks.
yes, Argyle actual socks, or just like bright orange, like,
Let me.
with gritty faces on the side.
Well, that would make them cool, so now it's okay.
fair.
If you add gritty, then
Sesame Street.
nothing else matters. I will say this: I think that it is feasible to work paisley into Highland dress in some very small ways, and the way I have done it is shut up. I have a paisley tie, which is a nice red and gold paisley pattern, and it will look fine with a sweater vest or a vest and a kilt. I would never wear it with just the shirt. I always
I'm
cut
going to
off,
put
but
air quotes around fine.
I've worn it on a show. And it looks fine. Paisley, and that's really how traditionally Paisley was used as a pattern for upholstery. It was used for women's
Curtains.
shawls,
Yep.
and it was used by gentlemen. It was a pattern that you'd see on ties, handkerchiefs, and sometimes in shirts. Matt can talk about some of the weird, funky shirts they had, like in the 1850s and I guess the 1860s.
Or the 1970s.
Yeah, but I'm thinking traditional. Does any of it look good with tartan? No, only if it's like a little splash. So like if you really love having paisley as an option, a pocket square or a tie would be about as far as you're going to go.
Yeah. It's
So
in the same way you wouldn't mix like a rugby shirt with big vertical stripes or big horizontal stripes with a kilt. You don't mix stripes and tartan. There are certain patterns that you can mix and look okay together, and there's others that maybe not.
yeah, but yeah, a paisley kilt would just be interesting. You know what's going to happen? He's going to make one.
Oh, I know.
He's going to sit down in his living room tonight. He's
They're
gonna, like,
all going to troll me, and
gonna
it's just we're going to get hundreds of photos of horrible
Yep.
paisley kilts or shirts with paisley or with tartan kilts. And if we do, we're going to put you all on blast and add them all in the video.
You know what? I can give you a good visual representation when we get to the editing phase of what a paisley kilt might be like. We have a photo of a guy from the PA Ren Fair who thought it'd be funny to make a kilt out of Crown Royal bags.
Oh yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that's what a paisley kilt would look like.
I don't know.
Just to demonstrate.
Jazzcat says it's now a personal challenge. So
Okay.
it's a hold my beer moment.
Hold my beer, wear it, and jump off a cliff. Thank you. Good night.
Uh,
All right, boys and girls. All right, question of the
very
day.
silly.
We did a video recently. I think it was on the last show or the show before, something. And we were talking about your favorite Irish or Scottish or Celtic, whatever, toast. So, question of the day. Tell us, what is your favorite toast, either insulting, genuine, honest, happy, sad, whatever.
Inspirational.
What is inspirational? Yes. What is your favorite toast to toast with? Make it interesting. Let us know in the comments. Until next time, boys and girls,
Sanjava.
I see a black bush and I want to drink it down.
I can't believe I said that.